All right, we should be live. What is up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. First in the chat was Stang. How you doing, Stang? Hope you and the fam are well. Time to dust off those floppy drives and CD, DVD drives with all the price increases. I think Old Tech might be making a comeback. I think Old Tech has been making a comeback for even before these shortages. I can't think of the last time though that I burned a CD or a DVD. I did see I think it was on Build a PC sales just the other day. Someone listed some Blu-ray drives. I have never had a Blu-ray player slash burner in a computer. By that point, I had already like moved on from disc media. But it's interesting, like some people do want to preserve their stuff on those types of media, as opposed, well, yeah, because right now thumb drives are crazy expensive. I don't know how much the average gamer would be affected by this, but as a content creator and to someone who, like, you know, I needed to pick up some micro SD cards for cameras around the house and things like that. Yeah, the prices of those are equally ridiculous with all the memory increases. So yeah, maybe it's time to go back to discs. Though discs have a very, very specific use case, and you need a drive to be able to use it. I don't know if it's as universal as literally USB. They look good. You can go check it out. Wait, what's up? I'm gonna pay the guy tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and he's gonna do a walkthrough with me and everything, so and answer questions and all that. What's up, Kale? Yes. Price increases, just another Wednesday, no different than the last 8 months. We might have to use GeForce Now or any cloud gaming services till this blows over. I would rather use a like $300 to $400 budget PC than to use GeForce Now and rent, I don't know. I don't know what hardware they give you per tier that you pay. But still, yeah, I would rather use a budget PC and play at lower graphic settings, 1080p, than to pay for GeForce Now. I don't like the idea of subscribing to something, especially like that, when there's alternatives to owning. Because similar to like physical media, when you own, you could resell. You could lend, you can do all those things. But GeForce Now, I don't like the idea of paying for something, then at the end of it, you have nothing to show for it. To me, I see that as kind of like money down the drain. Obviously, that's any rental, but specifically with PC gaming stuff, that's how I feel about it. Truth be told, the new games, besides a few, are not worth it. And the ones that are worth it seem to be highly optimizable. Yeah, in my recent video this past weekend, like I don't have Forza Horizon 6, but from what I've seen, I've looked up like the performance on it with old hardware. Like games like that, Pragmata, the new Resident Evil. There's a lot of games that are optimized well that you can still run on like 7-year-old hardware. So I think people just need to choose the right games to play and have the expectations, you know, kind of tempered given the times. Just picked up a Lenovo IdeaPad laptop, AMD Ryzen 5600H, GeForce 1650 for $90. This is my Steam Deck. Dude, that's a solid pickup. 1650 mobile with a 5600H. That should still be able to play a decent amount of games. Not for $90, that's a steal. Nice pickup. Kale would rather go touch grass than pay for GeForce Now, even if they have to wear a mask to do so because of the current wildfire smokes that we have right now. is GTA really gonna release on November 19th, 2026? KO would not be shocked if the surprise delay comes. If I had to bet, I have a feeling they're gonna, it's gonna release on that date. Oh, I'm gonna put that in the Discord server, actually. Predictions. This isn't a tech prediction, this is more of a gaming prediction. GTA 6 will release on 11/19/2026. No more delays. I'm putting my prediction in right now. I just feel like I have seen news recently that there have been complaints about how hard they're pushing the workers over at Rockstar right now. And like the different bonus incentives and stuff they have is kind of like a toxic work environment. But I don't think they could afford to delay it any longer. I mean, they could. People are going to play it no matter what. But it just feels like after this many delays, I feel like you start to hone in on when you really have an idea of when you can get something done. They wouldn't have just chosen aggressive after aggressive after aggressive dates. I wouldn't think. But we'll see. Just built my first computer thanks to you, says Odin's Graphics. AMD Ryzen 7 7800 XTD and 9070 XT. Nice, 32 gigs of DDR5 6000. How much was the total? A PC like this with the prices today, dude, 32 gigs. You can get 32 gigs in the secondhand market at least for like $300, 250 to 300. So if I had to guess, let's see. So let's say you got a slight deal on that. And then 1,000. I would have guessed you probably pay like maybe 17 to 1,800 without knowing the rest of the build for these specs. You said thanks to me, so hopefully you've been watching the deal hunting stuff and you got good deals on things. But we'll see what you check back in with. Hey, what's up, Pedro? Hello. Yep, hope everybody's all good. Alexis says, GeForce Now took me through the trenches when I had no money, lol. Using like the free tier? There's a free tier, right? I forget. It's decent as short term. Hello, Unc Ken. How you doing? Woof woof. I don't think there will be relief until at least 2030. What's up with Zero Thoughts? So, my thing is, I feel like, like we're going to talk about the graphics cards and stuff today in a bit here, but I feel like if you are motivated enough, you could get a gaming PC up and working to let you play games right now. I think people who say PC gaming is over, you know, due to the prices and stuff like that, I think they're being a little bit doom and gloom, like overly doom and gloom, because or they just have too high of expectations. Like they only want to be able to buy the latest generation of products, and they won't even consider secondhand market, and they wouldn't even consider you know, 1 or 2 generations back, where you could build a really good PC with like $1,000. It's not going to be as good as it would have been a year ago, but it's something that will let you play games just fine. But it is trending towards a pretty bad direction. But currently, like today, I would say if people wanted to get into PC gaming, and if they put in a little bit of research, like a week's worth of just watching videos about what and how to build and what to deal hunt for, they could put together a system like at a decent budget. No one's happy that we're paying like, you know, 20, 30, 40% premium on some parts. Well, the RAM and memory is even more than that, but you offset that by buying secondhand and past generation parts. If you can't be happy with a $1,000 PC right now in 2026, then I feel bad for you that you have such high tastes and expectations that you can't even play at lower graphic settings or resolutions. Danny just got a Lenovo M710Q with the Intel 6500 Ti to use as a NAS, just a beginner NAS to install Plex and stuff for $50 a good buy. But I mean, when you start getting into hardware that old and cheap, it's hard to say if it's a good buy or not. Like for $50, there are so many different like Dell Optiplexes, Lenovo ThinkStations, and you know, all those other types of towers, as well as old laptops that you could buy. For a beginner NAS, hard for me to comment without looking. Like let's take a look at that. What's the market look like for that? So you said you got an M710Q, and eBay is gonna be on the higher side. Let's see if they have specifically this. Oh, it's a 6500T. Good deal. Did you get? Was it a good buy? You're asking. This one doesn't have HDD. If yours had an HDD or SSD, it looks like that's about the going price. So this one does have 8 gigs of RAM. Yeah. So I mean, I don't think for you to have gotten a good deal, because this is eBay, mind you. eBay is about as high of a price as you should pay because it's readily available. I don't know if you picked yours up locally or what, but and depending on the storage that you had in it, because this one doesn't have storage, but it is around the same price. Plus, if you're only using like a spinning cheap drive, then those are dirt cheap anyways. Like you could probably find drives almost given away for free, lower capacity ones anyways. In terms of decent beginner NAS, it depends what your use case is. Like for me, I would not really consider something like this because I need a bigger case and more the ability to support more drives and get some redundancy going in on there, but I don't know how you're planning on setting up. Yeah, there's a free tier, also a premium tier, only $10. They give you a 3060 rig. For $10, they give you a 3060, or is that the premium tier? The $10 tier that gives you a 3060. Pete Dunn, 67th birthday yesterday. Hope all is well. Happy belated birthday, Pete. 60. Oh my god. Wait. You're not trolling me, are you? I'm gonna need to see your driver's license. I don't know if you're just doing a 6'7" joke. But thank you. I appreciate it. Hope all is well with you and you had a good birthday. Is RTX 4070? Yes, a 4070 and a 5600X. That's a good combo in my opinion. Yeah, I think the 5600X is still such a solid graphics card. Not graphics card. Why did I even say that? CPU. 5600X solid CPU. 4070, depending on the price, I think it's still pretty good. And even if you do get some CPU bottlenecking in the more intense CPU intensive games, I think that's fine. You're not gonna like, I think there are way more games out there that exist that would bottleneck a 4070 than it would bottleneck to 5600X in this combination right here. Oh wait, am I missing some chats? Let me see. Okay, let me change my chat up real quick. Do I need to... Give me 1 second. I might have to update this. Papa. Okay, I think... Wait, who are we talking to? Okay. You got it locally in 8 gigs of RAM, but what's the storage? I'd rather pay extra for 10th to 12th gen. But 10th to 12th gen, you're easily gonna be paying like triple the price. I don't think people are selling these types of systems. Let me see. Let me see if we can find tiny 10th gen. I think when you go to 10th gen, the price will easily like, okay, here's an 8th gen one. Let me just scroll through a bit. Yeah, the only reason they're $50 is because they're 6th gen. 10th gen is a really good gen. I think for me, I'm not a fan of 8th and 9th gen Intel. On a very budget build, I think it's fine. But starting with 10th gen is when Intel kind of fixed their cores and threads across like their i5s and i7s. And because of that, here's like 7th gen. Yeah, I don't even know if they make these tiny. But let's just look at non-tiny 10th gen and see if we can find anything. Paying extra for it, you're gonna pay a decent amount extra. Oh my god. Yeah, thanks. Oh, okay. Let me see. 10th gen. Tower. Why is nothing coming up? What's going on? This one's 10th gen i7, 300. Yeah, you're not gonna find anything. I don't even know if you can even find anything under like 200 bucks. Maybe locally, if you find someone who's giving like a really good deal, but average price for 10th and 12th gen, because they're still really capable and considered pretty modern, people on eBay at least are gonna know what they're worth, and they're not gonna let them go for that cheap. It came with a 500 gigabyte hard drive. Okay, those are worth like 10 bucks ish. At least for me, I can find them in my secondhand market all day long. So you got a better deal than eBay, but I think it's still, for a local pricing, you got a pretty standard deal. You're just gonna be using it for movies, Pi-hole, and photos. Nothing extreme. Is that all gonna fit on your 500 gigs that it came with it, or are you gonna have to add any more storage? I feel like movies, photos, Pi-hole, plus whatever OS you're gonna run it with it. I don't know. Maybe you're not a digital hoarder like me though. 500 gigs after you take the hit of it not actually being 500 gigs, plus the OS and any of the other programs and applications. That's, I guess, for like a starter NAS, that's fine. But if you're really trying to like collect movies and back up your, videos and photos from your phone and stuff like that, that storage is gonna go away really fast. It's gonna fill up fast. What's up, Chris? How you doing? Hope all is well with you as well. No, I'm really 67 years old. Okay, I believe you. Well, happy belated birthday nonetheless. I picked up 4x 11th gen for $250 on eBay without charger. Oh, these are the laptops. 4x 11th gen for $250, so that's about 60 bucks. Oh wait, no, what's the price? Yeah, about 60 something bucks a piece. 11th gen laptops on eBay. That seems like a pretty uncommon deal. Sounds like you got like a steal there. USB external drives too. Okay. Yeah. I mean, if it's your first one, you're learning on it, I think that's perfectly fine. That's a pretty good way to get into seeing if you want to invest in a more serious NAS or home server. Why does it have to be Lenovo? Wait, why does it have to be Lenovo? Oh, I was just looking because I was trying to find equivalent price things. It doesn't have to be Lenovo. 10th gen, yeah, I guess I could have just looked this up. I think 10th gens are going to be expensive regardless if it's Lenovo or not. Like Optiplexes, HPs, yeah. Just like i5, i7, 10th gens and above. This is an i3 and that's already 230. But it does come with 16 gigs of RAM and a 256 SSD. Which i3 they have. But the point I was trying to get at is the reason that Pedro chose 6th gen is because it was $50. You're not even gonna get anywhere close to a $50 like pre-built or mini PC type thing with 10th gen in it for 50 bucks. When are these price increases going to hit? I'm looking about a 5090. The 5090s, I think people have already been reporting that the prices have already gone into effect. Let me see if I can find the article. Well, what time is it? 5? Okay, in the next few minutes, we're going to talk about the graphics card price increases. But I've been seeing people post pictures of their micro centers already increasing the prices of 5090s, as well as even like Asus. I need to bring the article up, but like them, it's this article right here. So a $4,430 order for an ROG Astro RTX 5090 canceled by NVIDIA due to late price increase, with Asus blames marketplace buyer refunded after immediate $500 increase. So it looks like $500 price rise on a GPU already costing over $4,400 versus the original $2,000 MSRP. So I think for the 5090 and 5080, I've already been seeing reports of people posting their local micro centers increasing the price on those. I haven't seen much about like 5070 Ti's, 5070s, and 9070 XTs. So I think if you're kind of like more in the upper mid range as opposed to like the most high end stuff, you might still have time. We'll check prices in a bit here, but I will say, given everything that I've been reading, it seems like, and you guys know me, I never give this advice, but this might actually be the time to buy now if you are in the market to put together a gaming PC within the next 6 months to a year. Like, I do not think you are going to lose out on much, if anything at all. If, let's say you don't have all your money together now, but you have enough to buy something. If you were to buy a graphics card right now, I think it would be a safe bet. Prices, if for whatever reason they go down, they're not going to go down to any significant amount where you're going to be like, you know, as regretful as you would be if you don't buy right now, and it's a higher chance that the prices are going up, if that makes sense. Like, if I bought a 9070 XT right now for whatever price, and in 6 months or whatever, the price went down $50, I'm not going to kick myself about it like, oh, I didn't predict the market right. I took a gamble based on the information known at the time, and losing $50, even $100, is better than potentially paying $150, $200 more with, you know, the continual price increases that we've been having. So, yeah, I usually never say buy right now, but except for right now. Heavy Metal Tech says, data hoarder, what did you call me? A friend is sending me 2 times 1 terabyte mobile drives for my NAS. Nice. I got a brand new inbox Pixel Watch 3 for 120 on... What is RHW? I'm gonna feel stupid when I type this in. And... Oh, wait, no. Yeah, RHW. Is this a thing? Real Housewives? On... What is... Oh, Reddit hardware swap? Is that what you're trying to say? RHW. Reddit hardware. I usually call hardware swap HWS. Wait, yes, HWS. But maybe that's what you meant. Yes, okay, that is what you meant. I was able to guess right. 777. Wait, who just super chatted? Abdullah Zimpatel 777. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Why pay over MSRP? Why pay over MSRP? Because people want a computer now and not in a year or two or whenever the heck things are going to be MSRP again. Wait, what do you mean? I don't understand. The reason you pay over MSRP is because that's what the market is right now, and you can't find any better. The only way you can pay under MSRP is if you buy it secondhand from someone, because secondhand items take a price hit just for not being new. But yeah, I mean, the reason people are having to pay over MSRP is because they need or want a PC now, and you know, we don't know how long it's gonna be until things are gonna be at or below MSRP. Chris is very tired right now, like unexpectedly extremely tired. Hopefully you're not driving, Chris. Hopefully you're already home, ready to take a nap. Take a nice quick nap. PC builders are slowly being priced out of the hobby. Holy crap. I mean, look, we just gotta make adjustments, right, guys? I know you want your 9070 XTs and 5070 Ti's and stuff, But hear me out. For the time being, if you picked up a 6600 XT or 6700 XT or 3070 or 3080, which are still decently priced in the secondhand market, and just use a DDR4 system for a little bit, that can hold you over. If you cannot be held over temporarily with specs like that, then I don't know if, you know, then maybe you should leave the hobby. When I think of the PC hobby, I don't only think of high-end parts. I think of the actual experience of gaming and of using your PC. It's not just flexing, you know, the highest end parts and like how much you spent on it and, you know, these beautiful tempered glass RGB'd out PCs and your desktop battle stations that cost you thousands of dollars. Like, to me, the PC hobby is, yes, building it, regardless of the hardware, and using it just to you know, enjoy yourselves. Has no chill. What's up? What's up? People keep waiting and prices keep going up. That's been the trend, yes, for the last 8 months to a year. But again, secondhand market still has those nugget of deals that were almost just as good as before all this craziness happened. You're still at work? Dang. Chris ate the lettuce from Taco Bell. Is the Taco Bell lettuce better than the Burger King foot lettuce? 14-hour days for almost 2 weeks straight, getting 1 day off, then back to your normal hours. Time to get sick, Chris. They can't make you work when you're sick, right? Yes, maybe you should eat that unwashed berry and have some loose stools. Tech bros killed gaming. See, notice it's specifically tech bros and not gaming bros. 6800 XTs are indeed good prices right now. I'm happy with my RX 6600 and a little short on the Ryzen 5 5500. I could use a little CPU horsepower. I feel like I slightly overpaid for my 5090 Giga Gaming OC RGX 5090, 2.9K. It did drop down 2.6K, but it was installed and the hunt was over. Tried for many FE drops on Best Buy, but no luck. Well, I mean, now you underpaid because, you know, those cards are going for like near $5,000. So you're good. Haven't seen Lexi and Mia for a while. They're doing good. They're doing really good. So I've been trying to, as they're getting older, you know, they're toddlers now, and they're not 2 yet. They're not even 1.5 yet, but they are getting to be a handful. So it is harder to have them here with me on the stream, given how mobile and strong they're getting and how loud they are. And I don't want them to just be like yelling, you know, because I'm trying to keep them contained. But maybe, actually, I showed them up the staircase in recent streams. But yeah, I haven't had them down here because they're kind of crazy. But they're doing good. Yeah, no, the girls are awesome. But remember when mid-range did not cost more than 1K? I mean, again, I don't know what people's like, what? Okay, here, chat. Let's have a quick exercise before we get into these articles. What is your guys's definition of a mid-range graphics card for the current generation right now? Like, are we thinking 5060 Ti, 5070, 9060 XT, 9070 GRE, 9070, 9070 XT? What is your definition of a mid-range graphics card in the current generation? I would say, for me, mid-range is 5060 Ti. I think 5070 you start breaking into like upper mid-range. I do not think a 5070 is mid-range. Not just based on price, but just based on performance. And then for AMD side of things, I mean, it's somewhere in between a 9060 XT 16 gig and then the 9070 GRE. So that puts you at, because those are like 400 something to like 550. So just based on graphics cards, those are my choices for mid-range. if I were to say just price wise, ignoring specific models and names, I would say mid range is like $450. I forget. Is that? Let me look up what the 5060 Ti 16GB, what the cost is. I'm pretty sure the prices went up on that. But I think like $450 to $500, I guess. I would define that as mid-range. How much are these things? So who the $600 for a 5060 Ti class card? Why? Why is this a thing? This is what 5070s were. 5070s were even cheaper than this less than a year ago. We were finding 5070s for like at $550. Oh my goodness. To be fair, I do not like the 5060 Ti. Of all the cards of this generation, I think 5060 Ti might be the card I care the least about, and I do not actively track the price. I'm actually surprised this is $600 right now. I could have sworn the last time I checked they were like barely $500. The legendary 660 Ti is rolling over in its grave at that price. I'm screaming into a pillow right now over that. Like, is anyone else surprised by this? Or did you guys know this had already hit $600? Let me look on Camel or something. Actually, let's do PC Part Picker. Let me see. So let's look at 5060 Ti. And let's just look at... Oh, see? Here's some cheaper ones. So we're not going to look at 8 gigs. Let's look at the Duo C. This is a pretty standard cheapo card. Yeah, see what the hell is Newegg doing. Amazon actually has it for $580. So it's a little bit cheaper. But let's look at the price history. So this is this year. Can I go to like 1 year? So we go to a year. Yeah, so these were... So when did they start? See, so not even... I guess that's 9 months ago in November. They were like $480. So at what point did they... So Best Buy had them for $480. So they were under $600 for a while at like $580, it looks like, according to the... Wait. We do see some lower prices, $570 in here a little bit. But... I mean, that's what it is right now still. So yeah, big price jump, specifically around January. Veronica Sawyer sent 6-7 jewels and the hydration reminder. Thank you. I appreciate it. Wow. But yeah, these prices are bad. Okay, we're 30 minutes in stream. Let's talk about the article. Or not the article, let's talk about the articles. So, if you do a quick Google search for GPU price increase, I have been bombarded on my phone with new, like, Reddit threads, Twitter posts, Discord messages, Google News, you know, little notifications, YouTube videos. Everyone has been making some kind of content on GPU price increase within the last week. If you Google it in the news, you will have no shortage of articles within the last 7 days of these. They call it rumors, but it seems like there's an industry, like an insider that is the source of this. But yeah, no shortage of, and you know, raising prices for AIB partners, Gigabyte price hikes, AMD confirms August Radeon price hikes. So yeah, no shortage of articles. So I have a bunch pulled up. But Gigabyte hikes GPU price by up to 40%. So some of these articles are in other regions of the world, not specifically the US. I don't know what the audience watching right now, what the breakup or makeup is with regards to how many of you guys are from the US versus other parts of the world. But for most of the articles I've seen, it seems like they're reporting on like Europe, Japan, China, and things like that, more so than specifically in the US. But after looking at these 5060 Ti prices, I mean, it seems like we've already been hit by this craziness. Let me take a look at the 9070 XT prices real quick. Let's see what that looks like versus what we've been seeing in previous weeks. So 9070 XT starts at $730. I could have sworn. Do I have a price tracker on this? I need to get a Newegg price tracker as well as Amazon. It does come with a free gift. I don't know what the free gift is, but so $730. This looks about what we've been seeing in the last week or two. So it doesn't look like the prices have gone like up substantially yet. Like what some of these articles are talking about. But so yeah, like right here, the drastic price increase. We have heard reports that we have seen how drastic the price increase was for the 50 series in China. We also heard reports of AMD raising the price of 9000 series GPUs, which is delayed due to fear of losing to share to NVIDIA. Now reports claim that both manufacturers have already implemented a new price hike starting this month. So this is a specifically August thing, which if we looked at some of those prices, like the 9070 XT, it's been around $730, I think, for a bit. So it doesn't seem to have hit yet. So yeah, okay. Unsurprisingly, due to DRAM price increase still, looks like the new inventory will cost users far more than existing inventory. So with these articles coming out, if you were to ask, should I buy now? The more people catch wind of this, the more the current inventory from wherever you're buying from, Newegg, Best Buy, Amazon, or wherever, places that you have in other parts of the world. Once, and we saw this with the 9070 GRE warning too, that that the Power Color rep was giving, right? Andre, he was saying currently it makes no sense to buy the 9070 GRE because of the prices. But as current inventory sells out and they replenish it with these higher priced replacements with like the more expensive memory in it, or with the memory that has been affected by the increasing costs, then you're going to see the prices go up. So I would have thought, with how many articles were written in the last week, warning of price increases, I would have thought these prices would have gone up a little bit more. This seems to be, actually, let's take a look. This seems to be the only card, because everything else is refurbished, open box. So this one's $740 for the Swift, Gigabyte, $740, $750 for the Yeston Sakura one. But it's still below $750, so it doesn't look like any major price increases have hit at least Newegg yet. $5070 is mid-range in my opinion. 12 gigs of VRAM is mixed bag, but it does consistently outperform. Yeah, I mean, 12 gigs of VRAM, I know it's not ideal, but I don't like 16 gigs on a 9060 XT doesn't make it better than the 12 gigs on the 5070. The VRAM's one part of the equation. But I see 5070 again, I think it's a little bit higher than mid-range. I just paid $370 for a 9060 XT 16 gig Reaper and paid $34 for 5060 Ti with a bunch of Best Buy coupons. But what was the price without? Wait, what kind of coupons does Best Buy have? Is this like a loyalty rewards things and stuff like that? I mean, I wouldn't say you paid $34 for it. It's like saying like, hey, I got a $500 gift card, so then I got $100 5070 or whatever, right? There's like opportunity cost of what else you could have gotten with the same money. So Grandma didn't know what she had. Exactly, Jason. Is there anyone place, what is EU4? I don't even know what EU4 is. Not UE4, Unreal Engine 4, right? UE4. This? I've never heard of this game. Is this like Civilization? Sid Meier's Civ. It looks like one of those types of games from 2013. Yeah, very tough crowd indeed. I'm not sure if you're gonna find people in this chat who plays this game, if this is the game that you're talking about. But it doesn't make sense to buy a new PC now. I mean, it depends on what your priorities are. So here's one thing that I think this is a piece of advice that is echoed a lot, and it is that if you are using your computer to make money, then a lot of people say it's perfectly okay to like buy in this market right now, because you may need it if your current computer is not up to snuff and you need it to like do video editing or photo editing or whatever the heck you do, day trading. I don't know. If you make money off of your PC, then it could be well worth the investment and you could get your returns in multiple folds, right? But otherwise, yeah, I would agree with this sentiment. That's like, if you want a PC right now, just look in the used market, buy something to hold you over, spend less than $800. We can go deal hunting in my local market to see what people are selling at certain prices, and every time I look, there's always some decent deal out there that will let you play modern games. I'm just assuming people are mostly in this chat are gamers. I don't know what else some of y'all do. Maybe you do like trying to do some local LLMs, and maybe some of you guys are like 3D modelers and things like that. Then or maybe you're a student and you need it for CAD and things like that. But even then, I think like a 3060 3070 class card would do decent for what you would need for the CAD that you're doing in school. You're not doing like industry level professional huge models for the most part. Tell me, is any PC builder going to spend $600 on a 5060 Ti? I think there is a subset of PC gamers who are not super knowledgeable, and they will literally take a look at like, how much money do I have, and try to buy something close to that amount of money. And if they put in, like, let's say they had $1,500 and they just threw it into Google, and iBuyPower PC comes up with the 5060 Ti in it for that price, they will simply just buy it because they think that's the best they can get with their money without doing research. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of people out there like that. Before we know it, RAM will hit 2,000. We can do a RAM price check as well. Let me see if there's any. Oh, so AMD reported. So yeah, AMD's not. The funny thing is, I didn't see any mention of Intel in any of these articles. It's all talking about like Nvidia and then AMD following suit. Multiple articles are talking about this. For the AMD side of things, I think they were quoting 10%. Yeah. So earlier this month, we know that AMD was reportedly bumping its price of its GPU and VRAM bundles for its partners. Now it seems like that bump will be at least 10%. So 10%. Well, if that's on the GPU VRAM bundles, I don't know if that's directly translates to 10% on the like consumer price side of things. Because 10% on a $730 9070 XT would bump that up to over $800 by like a little bit over $800. But this is just, if it's 10% more cost to the Gigabyte and the AIBs and stuff like that, they're not paying $700 to get these parts, to slap together these cards to sell for $700. They're getting it for much cheaper. So let's say they're getting these VRAM GPU packages for, I don't know. Where's Mike Brazone at? Mike, are you in the chat? Industry Pro Mike, Industry Pro Analyzer. What is the cost to the AIBs at like the acquisition cost from like Nvidia or AMD? 10% on top of that. Let's just assume, I don't know, like $200, $300, $400 for the die and the VRAM package. Actually, it might be more than that, because I hear that margins on GPUs are not that great. So, whatever it is, the final consumer price should be less than that, though. Oh my god, where is the chat going? Okay, I'm missing so much chat. Why is Mehmet so... This is the cringiest place? What's so cringy about it? You asked about some game from 2013 that nobody responded to. Like, I don't understand. Wait, I need to track this down. Why is Mehmet so mad? And it's mostly price country, just so you know. I'm in Turkey. There's a lot. No, open the secondhand app, whatever you use. Are people arguing about secondhand versus new? Secondhand will only be available if people buy new. This statement is cringy. Which statement are they referring to? Oh, I think so. Is Ruto and Mehmet going back and forth? Guys, keep it civil. But no, I mean, I've even said that. To Mehmet's point, you don't get a secondhand market if people aren't buying new to begin with. I've actually said that in multiple videos. I've actually said that I appreciate. I actually said it in a recent YouTube short. Let me bring that up. So, I don't know if that applies to this current, like, when I said it, it was more of general, like before all the pricing went bad and stuff like that. I don't know if I still hold that opinion for when you're talking about like $600 5060 Ti's and all of that. Because this is definitely not a normal market. Oh my goodness. But yeah, let me bring up the thing. I even said it. Let's see. Where is it at? It's this one right here. What do you primarily game on, like with regards to?
Power supply always ACs, cooling and stuff. Usually Corsair. So it's just like a mixed match of everything, but those are the brands I prefer.
Those are kind of the more premium brands too. So.
Yeah. Everything's pretty expensive. Yeah.
Okay, dude. People need to spend on the more expensive stuff so that the companies can even release the budget stuff for the cheaper people like me out there. So we appreciate your work.
Thank you.
Okay, so never mind. I misremembered. It was a different video where I was talking about the secondhand market thing. But this, what I said in this short still applies. Like, as much as we complain about expensive stuff, which kind of applies to like buying new versus buying used, like if people weren't spending the money to buy things brand new and buying the more premium stuff from brands, the rest of us would not be eating as good in the secondhand market. So I do appreciate the people who you know, have the disposable income and who just don't care, and if they want the newest greatest thing, they buy it. You could think of it as like a double-edged sword, because then the companies see this as like, oh, let's just raise prices because people are making bad financial decisions, or just like, you know, buying things willy-nilly without being more cognizant of it. But I think it kind of washes out at the end of the day. Like, it is equally as good and bad for people to buy brand new things for the secondhand market and for budget people. Anyone will buy my OGP that's 14 years old? What card was out in 2012? 2012? We're talking... Is that like 400 series GTX NVIDIA cards? And then AMD side of things would have been like HD 70, 950, like 7000 series, HD 6 or 7000 series. Mike. Oh, Mike's in the chat. Okay, Mike. Quick question for you regarding just since you have, you know, specific contacts and you specialize in the market analytics. If an AIB has to pay 10% more on buying these die and VRAM bundles from AMD and NVIDIA, 10% more for the AIB, about what would that reflect in terms of the cost of, like, let's just say their high-end like 9070 XT or a 5080 or 5070 Ti. Like about how much of that increase will be passed on to the end to the customer. Where if GPU prices do go up, I just picked up 3 B580 12 gigs. Nice. So you got them for the MSRP. Are they all the same model? 250? I mean, now that sounds like a great deal. Let's look at, yeah, because we're looking at like the competing cards. This isn't even the competing cards. These cards are better, but you know, Nvidia hasn't. I guess you can look at 50-50. I'm gonna need a refresher. The 50-50 versus a B580. What are we looking at? They're like neck and neck. Except less VRAM. Let's see, 128-bit bus. It's not ×4, is it? How many PCIe lanes does this thing have? Am I blind? Do I need to zoom out? What is going on here? Oh, it's up here. Oh, it is a ×8, but PCIe 5.0. So if you have like a older like B450 board, you're kind of screwed. Or you could be screwed. So this is supposed to be 250, but let's take a look at the actual price. So B580s for 250, and the lowest priced 550 is 300. So yeah, it's pretty solid pickup, except for people who have, you know, specific use cases where these Intel cards don't perform nearly as well. Will you still be nerd on a budget when PC parts skyrocket in the future? There will always be a secondhand market. There will always be deals to be had. And I didn't, like, my channel is called Nerd on a Budget. Being on a budget means that you're following like a budget, you're setting a budget, like you're, you know, making conscious decisions to stay within a budget. Your budget could be whatever. You could be on a you can have a $2,000 budget. You can have a $1,500 budget. The name of my channel implies not that you only spend on low-end parts or on cheap things. It is, if you want to set out and build a computer, you set a budget and then you plan your parts around meeting that budget as best as possible. Because some people just willy-nilly open up their wallets and will buy whatever. Budgeting, if we, you know, like budgeting outside of, you know, computer parts, like in your life, you should be budgeting. You have this amount of fixed income you get per month, and you have these expenses. Budgeting is just balancing the cost of stuff to make sure, you know, at the end of the day, you're okay and can afford whatever you need. And in the case of my channel, it is being able to afford whatever computer you want to buy based on the budget you have, that you set. So, I mean, yeah, the channel is never going to change with that regard. If things get more expensive, then you just have to be more diligent about how you budget. And, you know, you prioritize certain things. Maybe because the prices went up on one component, you kind of get something a little bit cheaper of a case or something. Maybe you don't get RGB. Maybe you get a, you know, smaller cooler that's still sufficient instead of the fancy AIO. So yeah, budgeting is not just about the price of things. Show us your idea. My 401k is pretty nice right now because another thing about that is if you budget well, you have more money to do whatever you want with. Some people decide, I make this amount of money, I'm able to save this much, and I can afford these things, I'll afford it. Early on in my career, I put a ton of money into my 401k. Like, you know, there's like a yearly max that you can contribute, sort of. You can contribute more, but there's an amount that you don't really want to go over because then you start taking like the tax hits for it. But I basically max it out every single year. I maxed it out, and now my 401k is looking nice. I'm not going to tell you what my 401k is, but for someone in their mid-30s, okay, let's take a look at this. What is the average 35-year-old's 401k amount? I think it's going to be a small amount. Ooh. For a 35-year-old, major financial institutions report average 401k balances ranging, so not even 100,000. And I think this more reflects of like people's priorities, I guess. I don't think a lot of people have the mindset of planning for the future and saving money. This isn't to say that like, oh, you know, I know people have minimum wage jobs and jobs that don't pay as well. Not everyone has a white collar job type thing. But even, okay, here, among white collar jobs, we're just going to assume the AI is correct. I feel like with data like this, the AI wouldn't do that bad of a job. I'm just trying to save time here. For a 35-year-old in a typical corporate or white-collar job, so we're talking about, you know, like with degree and things like that, major financial firms like Fidelity and Vanguard report average 401k balance for a broader 35 to 44 age bracket is 91 to 120, which, assuming you got a job right out of college, you've been working for more than a decade, and the way that the market has been going in the last decade, I feel like these numbers could be higher. But again, people, they have that life. You heard of lifestyle creep? Like people, as they get raises and make more money, and I understand cost of living, gas prices, mortgage, rent, all that goes up as well. But people also just have lifestyle creep. And I think that's just one of the things, you know, we're living in a country like ours, you know, people, it's a very consumerist mindset. Because they make more money, now they can spend more money, and they don't think about things like taking the amount more that they're making due to a raise or a bonus or something and sticking into either 401k or Roth IRA or whatever. But yeah, these numbers, to me, this looks also low considering white collar job and someone in their mid to 30s to mid 40s. While typical median balance is closer, so we're talking about the average or mean versus the median. So that means, you know, the outliers taken out. If you're looking at the number right in the middle, is actually closer to 36 to 47,000. And this is their report of, you know, this is apparently from source from Vanguard, but and others, but this seems like a low amount. Would anyone like to share their 401ks in the chat? I do not want to share mine, but I will say that mine is multiple times higher than what is shown here. And it's not because I like am rich. It is the exact opposite of that. Because I live in the city of Seattle, or near Seattle, and if you guys know anything about that, cost of living is very high. It is because I am frugal and a cheap ass, and an aggressive saver. So, for any young people out there, if you want any financial advice, stop spending on crap you don't need. Just buy yourself a computer, buy a couple of games every year, and then save a lot of money. Don't just, you know, have these expensive hobbies that you eventually end up not being able to afford because the cost of living is going up. You don't have $0 in your 401k. A 401k would be nice to have. Well, Kale, how old are you? Dude, I think even minimum wage job, like, I feel like every employer out there, I should say every, at least if you work for like a megacorp, like McDonald's or Walmart, Target, whatever, like a big company, they have some kind of matching program for their 401k. But I understand if you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're not gonna have any money to put into that. But I will say, I know people who aren't living paycheck to paycheck, or people who are living rent free at home with their parents, and instead of pretending like they owe rent and putting that into a savings, they just go buy more needless crap that they don't need. I'm out of touch on this one. Okay, let's just take a look. Does McDonald's match 401k? I might be out of touch on this. Did they change? Yes, McDonald's offers a 401k match. Eligible for corporate and managed employees. Okay, what about for non? For non-corporate employees. Whether non-corporate McDonald's employees depends entirely on whether they work for corporate operating location or independent franchise. Okay, eligible restaurant managers and staff at corporate-owned locations receive matching. Okay, so I'm trying not to talk about the corporate, corporate-owned locations, restaurant management, eligible staff. Okay, let's look at Walmart. Does Walmart 401k match? Yes, Walmart match employee 401k contributions up to 6%. First day, well, 401k match for non-corporate. I mean, we would have to look closer into this because right now we're relying on the AI for all employees. That's why I said specifically megacorps, because I feel like most of them do, but not immediately upon hire. While you can start contributing to it, Walmart only begins matching after you complete 1 year of service, which 1 year full time you would definitely be, let's see, 40 hours a week. Yeah, yeah, you would be hitting more than 1,000 hours. I've been in my company 5 years. Give 6% of my check to it. They match 6%. But why not put more into it? Probably, like, you might not be able to afford it, right? But my thing is, if you can afford to put it more into it, as opposed to picking up, you know, a project car or like whatever expensive hobby that people get into, then I mean, obviously the long-term smart decision would be to contribute more. I would say the first few years of working at, you know, my first career out of college, I did only do the minimum contribution that they matched to, which mine was, they matched 75% up to 6%. So that means if I put in 8%, I would get the full matching of the 6% because 75% of 8 is that. So that means I would have got, by putting in 8%, I got 14%. But that was still far from the yearly, like, you know, cap, that, or the pre-tax cap, whatever the amount, I don't know what it is now, but eventually I decided, like, hey, I kind of don't want to be working for the rest of my life, and I want to be set up for the future. So then I put a, you know, like, I tripled the amount I contributed. And Walmart employees can't even afford rent on a Walmart paycheck. So obviously I'm not talking about the single mother with 2 kids working at Walmart full time or potentially 2 jobs. I think because I personally know some people who are very lucky and are in situations where they can afford to contribute to their 401k. They just choose not to because they don't think that far ahead. Like I know people who, like, are living at home not paying rent, like, you know, fresh college grads, or just people who for whatever reason live with their parents for, you know, into their 30s and such, and don't have to pay rent, and instead of contributing more, they just spend more. But yeah, I'm not talking about the single mom who's barely making it on paycheck to paycheck to contribute more to the 401k working at Walmart. I do live at home, but my funds are ate up by gas due to not being able to afford rent in the town I work in. Can't enjoy that 401k if you are in the ground. That is true. Some people don't think they'll live long enough to enjoy the 401k because you can't take that out to what, 65? Are they going to raise that? So yeah, I mean, I think there's a balance between, you know, enjoying the now versus planning for the future. But some people only enjoy the now, and then they're screwed when an emergency comes up. How did we get into... Oh, because Jason always derails the conversations. Because he had to say... Jason, show your 401k, and I will show mine. Tony Vert has 220k in their... I think you're saying you have 220k in your 401k. Level 5 assistant manager at Amazon, started at 18. 200k at 25 years old. I mean, that's well above the average. And you started... So working for 7 years at 220k. Look, just give away a PC and I'll shut up. No, let us screenshot of your 401k in the Discord server, stream submissions, and then we can move on. Yeah, let's get back to computers. Can we get... No, we're not talking about marrying cousins this week on the stream. Okay, so I did want to take a look at the graphics card stuff while Jason brings up his 401k. So price increases. Hi. Okay, here. You guys can come down for a second because people asked about you earlier. Come here. Come here, come here, come here, come here. Come here. What a cute outfit. Let me see. Hello. Come here. Hi. Okay, I'll just have him for a second. Okay. Oh my goodness. Who put you in these cute outfits? Okay, yeah. Say hello. The stream was asking for you recently. I forgot who it was specifically. But see, the girls are doing fine. They're still alive. I think I'm doing a decent job at keeping them alive and teaching them things. What's wrong? They're getting bigger though. Hey. Hi. Let's see. Yeah, I mean they're this month they're gonna be 15 months old. So, not at the 1.5 year mark yet, but they are getting big. They're getting heavy. Yeah. They're not saying... They're not talking too much right now. Like, you can hear them making these little monkey sounds. But, yeah, they were... I feel like they were ahead of the curve when it came to crawling and walking. But for the speech part of it, I think they're... According to that, you know, online and stuff, I think they're... not saying as many words as the average baby their age. But with kids, I think it's just all over the place. There's, you know, you just kind of go with the flow. And I think I forgot what the marker was at what month. If they aren't talking more, then we start going to like speech therapy type stuff. But we're not at that point yet. But yeah, but you know, they're smart little girls. Yeah. Can you show stinky face? Yeah, you show stinky face? Okay. Yes, terrible twos are coming. Yeah, stinky. What's that smell? Yeah. What's that smell? Okay. Ready to go back upstairs? And he's gonna change your diaper. I think you guys just peed. I don't smell any poo-poo. Okay, let's go. Let's go. You make more stinky face? Okay. Say bye-bye. Okay, don't go crying as soon as I let you down, okay? Here you go.
Hi.
So you wouldn't work?
Để change diaper. Để change diaper. Come on. Okay. Let's change diaper.
Okay. They're growing up during the worst PC times ever. I know, right? I'm very curious. I mean, I probably would want to build them a PC or have them start touching PC parts and, you know, guiding them to building their own PC. I don't know. I would assume 4, 5. That's pretty good age. So they've got a little bit of time. Hopefully the market fixes itself. Or at that time, we might just be all cloud gaming. If that's the case, I need to stock up on some Dell Optiplexes and other cheap towers for them to start their first PCs off with. Children are so charming until they start rejecting table manners. Let's just say these girls have tested my patience a number of times when it comes to eating. Like when they just decide like, oh, let's just throw food on the ground for no reason, like, and just making a mess for no reason. Let's just say my patience has been tested. But at the end of the day, you know, they're just babies. Why does the one in blue not have matching? I don't know. That wasn't on me. We do usually try to match their hair ties with their outfits, though. Are they gonna take their dad's legacy? Hopefully. You know, I think a lot of parents would hope that their children gets into the same interests and hobbies as they do, but it's one of those things where, like, obviously you don't want to force it. Like, I will introduce it to them, but I'm not gonna make them, you know, be into PCs and games and stuff like that. I will just introduce it to them, and then hopefully they just naturally enjoy it. Who wouldn't? From young childhood, if you were to put a kid in front of a computer and turn on to whatever video game, who wouldn't enjoy that? As someone who went through that path, I cannot imagine a kid not liking games. What's up? I saw that. Where does your frugalness come from? My frugalness comes from growing up pretty poor and just, you know, I mean, you gotta imagine. So I'm first generation born American. My parents came over during during the Vietnam War, so they were refugees. So think of typical Asian parents who are immigrants. Like the stereotype is that they're cheap as hell, right? And that was also the case in my family. Plus, you know, them coming over with the situation that they came over in. Like my family, how could we have come from money? Like, you escape a war-torn country, you come here. My mom was like 16, I believe, and didn't speak a single word of English at that time. Like how do you, you know, get rich from that situation? I'm sure there are immigrants who there's like success stories and stuff online of that, but that's like the exception, right? So yeah, growing up, we didn't have much money. We were constantly moving in and out of different places, living with different family members or friends. Like my mom to this day has never owned her own place. It's always been basically renting a room out of someone's house or renting an apartment, or living with, you know, her partners and stuff like that. So yeah, growing up in that situation, not having much money, and then parents instilling, hey, there's an importance to, you know, saving money and not being stupid with it because we don't have much. So mostly my parents, I guess. I mean, and then when I moved out of the house for college and started living in the dorms and stuff like that, I also didn't have much money. I did not have much money until I graduated from college and got a real career with my engineering degree. And even then, so I was like, what, 22 years old by that point? When you've been living 22 years of your life being a frugal cheap ass, that's just habits that don't break. More than half of my life up to this point, I, have been cheap as hell. So I don't know at what point or if ever I will change from that. I studied aeronautics and astronautics, but in terms of my specialty, it's in structures. When you grow up seeing that money is hard to earn, it makes you tighter with how you spend it. Yeah, exactly. If you got 3 meals a day, you were slightly poor, not poor. I mean, it's semantics at this point, right? Like, does my entire, all throughout, from K through 12, being on free lunch at my public school, does that count? Or is that still only being slightly poor? Like, when your parents' income qualifies for, not reduced lunch, because there's free and reduced lunch, but we were free lunch, me and my brother, all the way K through 12. And then going to college, like, my parents' income was low enough that I basically didn't have to pay for college. I did get myself one big scholarship, but that didn't cover everything. But you know how, at least back then, I don't know what it is like now, but like, I had grants just thrown at me for, being low income. So I didn't have to pay a single dollar for college. That included books, tuition, and room and board. So like dorms or apartment. So I don't think you get to that, or I don't think you get all that thrown at you if you're like even close to middle class, right? So what's the IQ? I've never taken an IQ test. I feel like, I don't even know, are IQ tests even a good indicator? Of, someone's intelligence. You were so poor you only had 1 stick of RAM. Yeah, free lunch is rough. I mean, the lunch at the schools, yeah, they kind of sucked. But you know what else is cheap? Cup noodles, especially back in, we're talking like early 2000s-ish, mid 2000s. Plus my mom worked at the gas station that my aunt and uncle owned, so I could get cheaper food there. So I would rather prefer to bring my own food than eat the free lunch that the school provided, because it was so bad. Like the burger and chicken patties, all that, yeah. But then I was definitely getting less nutrition eating just a cup noodle every single day for lunch at school, as opposed to eating, like an actual burger with lettuce and like protein in the meat and stuff like that. Steven Anderson was so poor that he never had a computer until he retired. You're retired? But then now you're not poor anymore, or are you still poor, but you have a computer? I used to be incredibly cheap too, until I lost a lot of money. How did you lose the money though? You lost all the money and earned it back, which taught me money comes and goes. To some degree. I don't know if I would be like, I don't know your specific situation, but the average person, I'm not sure if they would just lose all their money in that way, to have the mindset of money just comes and goes, so that you would never want to save or, be financially conscious. But without knowing the details, you might have had like bad luck specifically. Rutojin doesn't agree with that. If you can build up money, then you can make it grow on its own. Yeah, it just depends on what the situation is, which we don't know for Elegant TV, right? Neil Wesco says, I was broke for so long that when I finally got to college when I was 26, I used to scare the piss out of my roommates with what I could do with $8 in a crock pot. Crock pot meals? I mean, dude, grains are cheap. Potatoes are cheap. Discounted manager specials meats are cheap. Salt, pepper, garlic seasonings are cheap. Like, yeah. If you have to, you can make poverty meals go a long way. Stay away from credit cards and you'll be okay. Here's a question. If you don't want to show your 401k, how much debt is everybody in? Credit card debt. Obviously, if you own a home, then yeah, you're in a huge mountain of debt for, you know, from your lender for your house. But talking about just credit card debt, how much of a balance do you guys just like at any given time? Like, what is the typical balance that you hold on your credit card, if at all? Unless you just pay it off, you know, as soon as you can every single time. I treat my credit card almost like a debit card. Like, I'm not constantly like rolling over interest and stuff like that. Like, it pretty much always gets paid off every single month. So treating it just like a debit card. None, my debt is college. Yeah. Law, I was going to use that. Home debt is 400k, but credit card debt, yeah, kill it monthly. Just otherwise, like, you get into this like false sense of comfort that you can afford things when you really can't. Being able to cook is a hack through being poor. And with nowadays with YouTube and how, you know how many poverty meal channels exist out there on YouTube? Like, the information is at your fingertips way more now than it's ever been for things like this. I don't remember looking up poverty meals, you know, 10 years ago, but like nowadays, everything, like, there's a good YouTube short for it probably. If you want to learn how to make something cheap, like a meal, you could probably find it on YouTube or a YouTube short or TikTok, and they'll guide you through the way. Okay, finally made it. When are we talking about freaky stuff, says Jonovek. We're not talking about that freaky stuff this stream. Though, okay, let me take a look at the Discord. So, I mean, aside from actually, so let's wrap this one up at least. Graphics card prices projected to increase. If you need a graphics card, just buy one. I would say a graphics card is a very safe item to buy ahead of time, even if you don't have the money to put together a build right now, but you know you want to do a build within the next however many months. It's pretty safe to say that graphics cards probably aren't going to drastically reduce in price, and if anything, they're probably going to increase in price, however much they may. It wouldn't hurt to buy a graphics card today, unless you're okay with the used market. Then ignore all this and go find something awesome in your used market, or buy some kind of holdover like system to get you through these freaking Rampocalypse. But yeah, we've been seeing this article how many times now within the last 8 months. It's just going to continue this trend. So I think resourceful people can make PC gaming happen for them if they're willing to put the time and effort into it. And if you aren't knowledgeable or a beginner about it, look online, ask around our Discord server. People are helpful when people ask questions like that. If you go on Reddit, you'll find no shortage of people showing, you know, deals that they've hunted down and stuff to put together a decently priced system. Yeah, it's getting bad for the average person who doesn't know how to deal hunt and doesn't understand the market. But it doesn't take that much effort to like put yourself above the average PC gamer into the realm of being knowledgeable enough to build a PC that is not going to completely rip you off. Friggin' Newegg sent me a motherboard today with no danged IO backplate. You buy this brand new? Or is it like a open box or a refurbished motherboard? I've bought a decent amount of motherboards from Newegg over the years. I've never had one brand new sent with no IO backplate. But if you reach out, I'm sure they'll make it right. Or you can just return it for a replacement or whatever. I would hope there was no restocking fee for that. And I would hope they don't put the blame on you. But if they did, then it's a lesson for next time. Buy it from Amazon instead. Because Amazon will definitely not care about you returning it and getting another one with an IO. Newegg has fantastic customer service. I buy from them often. I buy from them relatively often. Not as much as Amazon for sure. But more than Best Buy. I haven't had to exercise their customer service. Like, I haven't had to use it to know, like, personally how excellent or bad it is. Cardboard OMFG. I bought an RTX 4070 Ti Super for $600. That's a good price for that. And it worked for like 2 weeks and just died on me yesterday. Luckily, I can return it. It was bought untested though. Wait, what? I need more details. You can return it, but it was bought untested. So is this like an eBay purchase or like a local pickup? And they're letting you return it? But it worked fine for 2 weeks? All I'm saying is, if I was selling a graphics card, this is why I bring a mobile test bench to meetups. If I sell you a graphics card and we test it right then and there and it works, I'm selling it as is. Whoever's letting you return it, I don't know if it's like a company or if it's an individual, but you got really lucky. Because one of the things about buying secondhand is you're taking that inherent risk of you get a discount, but it's sold as is. And it worked for 2 weeks. So this is kind of like a freak accident. Because a 4070 Super is new enough where it shouldn't be dying this soon. And it's not like the seller could trick you into making the graphics card work for 2 weeks fine. And then it fails, you know. Like, it would be really hard to do that. To pull off a scam like that. So, what are the details of this? It was an eBay purchase. Dude. This is why I don't sell on eBay. Also, I'm not saying you're a bad customer because it sounds like it was just a freak accident type thing. But like, as an individual, I cannot afford to sell a working graphics card for $600 on eBay. The person uses it for 2 weeks, then it breaks, and then wants a refund from me. And now I'm out of a $600 and a working graphics card. That's too much of a risk, I think, for most individuals. Like, $600 is a lot of money. Losing a graphics card worth $600 when it was working in your possession is like a big, that's a expensive item. If you had it for 2 weeks working, obviously customer might have done something wrong. I mean, we don't know the details of it. I'm not going to assume, but electronics can fail at any point in time. Like early, electronics failing earlier than their expected lifespan. That is totally a thing. And sometimes you just, you roll the dice and it wasn't in your favor. Danny, if you had a local Micro Center, how often would you see yourself shopping there? I think I would go there probably a couple times a month. If I had a local Micro Center, I don't think I would be one of those people who are there multiple times a week. Just because, Micro Center prices are great, but I don't need that many computer parts consistently, Like, I would go there for the occasional thing, but as we've seen, Micro Center prices are also going up, at least for graphics card and RAM and SSDs. Like, their CPU motherboard bundles and I guess secondhand not secondhand, but like their open box deals are really good. But aside from that, everything else is not that much better than what you can get elsewhere. And definitely you can find better deals on used components on Facebook and OfferUp than Micro Center new. So yeah, if we had a Micro Center, I probably would be in there a couple of times a month, but nothing too crazy. I would definitely go there if I needed to build something for friends and family, and I need to start off with a CPU motherboard. Definitely get the bundles that, the X3D exclusive chips are usually priced very well. So. Did you buy Melissa's cars used? Melissa bought her car like, I don't know what month, but the year that we dated. So we started dating in 2014, like the end of 2014. And her car she bought in 2014. I don't know what month. So she bought her car, and she also got her driver's license late. Like Melissa got her driver's license. When I say late, I mean like relative to, teenagers who get it at 16 or 18 or whatever. She got hers at like 24 or 25 years old. And so then she got a new car because she had just graduated from college, got a career, whatever, treated herself to a brand new 2014 Honda Civic. So she bought her car new. And at that time, I already had the Toyota Yaris, and I already had that for a couple of years. And I had never bought a new car, and I still technically have never bought a new car, at least by myself. The Model Y we bought together. So that's technically both of our cars, but I have never bought a car for myself that has been brand new. I can still say that. Newegg can have great customer service. Way too many horror stories out there. I mean, yeah. I would say, I would imagine like Newegg, Amazon, you hear horror stories from any company out there. I would say by and large, on average, most of the like Newegg and Amazon and like Best Buy and Walmart, whatever, Micro Center, they have on average decent to good customer service. Yes, every once in a while they screw some customer over, and then the customer goes to Reddit and complains, and then there's backlash, and then they make things right. But if we're looking like statistically, I would say like a huge, like 90+% of the customer service goes usually well. Too bad we can't have BYD here. Yeah, I know. I'm seeing all these videos about these Chinese EVs, and it just seems like they have way more fancy features. They have way better battery range and technology and stuff like that. The one that I saw with the competitor to FSD seemed just as good, if not better. But lobbying Elon's butt buddies with the people who rule the country. So. How's the Yaris doing? It's funny. My next pickup video, I actually took the Model Y. But yeah, it was because it was a late night pickup that was a little bit further away. But there's gonna be a surprise in the video, so you'll see. But the Yaris is doing fine. No problems. No major problems. If Danny had a local Micro Center, his 401k would shrink. If I could take out my 401k right now and pay off the house, I would be so tempted to do it. And I know people, that's a horrible idea, because once I pay out, well, no, the house actually might be increasing in value at a better rate than my 401k at the moment. I would have to look at the numbers. They might be pretty even. But yeah, taking it out, even though I can't, but if I could theoretically do it before, the age, without taking a penalty, I just want to be done with paying bills. Like, I don't want to have this big mortgage monthly payment looming over me. If that can go away, utilities is pretty cheap. Groceries and stuff like that, like, you can manage all of that. Like, utilities and groceries monthly, I think for our household, pulling numbers out of my butt here, I think it's under $1,000. That's considering 2 babies, me and my wife, so electricity, water, trash, and then just groceries to keep us alive. I think all of that is under 1,000. And across 2 people, that wouldn't be too hard to manage and pay off, even with part-time jobs. But like that mortgage, my goodness, that makes up the biggest chunk of the pie of our monthly expenses for sure. Homeowner, yeah, okay. Homeowners insurance, car insurance is relatively cheap. It's like we pay every how much do we pay? Like 200 every month. So okay, maybe with those things, yeah, I totally forgot about car insurance. But still, it would be very manageable with like even one part-time job. No, sell the house and move to a cheaper state. We can't. There's friends and family here. How could I do land party stories in a different state? That doesn't work. I never went back to... I've been back to the liquidation store, but without my camera on because we were looking for an air fryer oven thing. And the store was even worse than the first time I went. So I was like, okay, I don't think it's worth making content right on anymore. Six or seven figures? Or are you talking about my 401k or my income? I'll say it's somewhere in the mid six figures. But mid is a wide range. Mid six figures could be anywhere from like 400 to like 700k, right? I would think that's mid. I definitely do not have over $1 million in my 401k. I'm not gonna give an exact number, but it's in the mid six figures. You would say 400 to 600,000? I'm not gonna say anything. In the past, did they have horses, donkeys, and camel insurance? That is a good question. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know the modern insurance like industry. I don't know how far back it goes. If I can sell my house, the other one... Oh, if I can sell my house, the other one at high value. Don't see the issue about selling your house is that you're gonna have to move somewhere else where it's cheaper. Like selling your house because it's gone up X amount of percent over the since the pandemic or whatever, since the market has gone to crap, doesn't mean anything if you lose. Like when you sell, you gotta pay the freaking agents and stuff like 3% each, right? So you lose 6% on that. And then you gotta buy the next house, and unless you get a crazy good deal, you might be getting something only comparable or even worse because you just lost 6%. So basically, if you want to, upgrade houses, you got to move somewhere cheaper. I'm in a good place, like living on in a coastal like city, like let's say you live in New York, California, Portland, or LA or something. You are in a very good situation to move elsewhere because almost everywhere else it will be cheaper. But then, are you okay with moving away from friends, family, and the life that you're used to? I actually joke about this with Melissa all the time. I'm like, why don't we just sell the house and move to Texas, or just like in the middle of nowhere, buy a huge mansion, pay off the house, because if the house is cheap enough, then how much value our house has increased by over the last 8 years since we bought it. Like we could buy a really nice house somewhere cheap and just have no mortgage and just do what I was talking about earlier. Just have the bills to pay for, monthly bills, and just, relax. But then no more land party stories hosted at my house because my friends are not going to be flying out to do land parties wherever the heck we live. Move to Florida before they do away with property taxes. I got the house also free from dad. He bought it. He died. I saw this story of this woman who was the caretaker to her dad, who lived in a 55 and older community, and the father passed away and she inherited the house, but then the HOA was trying to kick her out because she was not 55 years old or not or older, which kind of sucks if they win, because inheriting a house in this market, it would be crazy, especially if it's paid off. But then because you're not old enough to live there, technically due to the HOA, that would be like the worst thing. Because even if you sold the house, it goes back to what I was talking about. Like, what are you gonna buy? Everything else is super expensive. It sucks. Her dad probably got the house at a really good deal in price. That now everything that's comparable to it is like crazy expensive. Don't do it. Vegas sucks. I've been here for 24 years. A lot of content creators move, not like I'm not within the realm of these elite content creators. But a lot of these like millionaire content creators are moving to like Texas and Vegas for like tax purposes. Like apparently it's just way better out there. Like yeah, they're like making the migration from LA and like these expensive cities to Vegas and Texas. Must be nice to inherit expensive things. Yeah, I know. I wouldn't know, right? Like I said, parents do not own at all. They live in an apartment to this day. A data center is trying to get me to sell my house, never gonna sell. I mean, how much are they offering? Insurance feels like a scam. Oh, so I was just thinking about this the other day. I'm glad you brought this up. Insurance feels like a scam because it's like how do you explain this? Insurance only exists so that everyone contributes to help out the small fraction of people. And I'm not assuming, let's just talk car insurance. Let's not even talk about house insurance, right? Like we pay whatever our premiums are every single month to drive our cars around legally because insurance is required. You know, over the course of a year, you're paying like, you know, maybe a few $1,000s in insurance. And then let's just say you've never had an accident for like 30 years. It just feels like you just dumped like tens of thousands of dollars into insurance just so that other people can benefit. It is like a social welfare program because obviously the average person, if they get into a car accident and their car is totaled, they are not going to be able to afford replacing their $20, $30, $40, $50,000 car. But the collective of us trickling in hundreds of dollars every month, or like, you know, $1,000, $2,000 every 6 months, we are basically paying for the people who are unfortunate enough to get into accidents. But yeah, that's all insurance is. It's socialism. Except it is privately owned socialism, or how do we explain this? It is socialism that is that I don't know how many insurance companies exist out there that these companies are able to capitalize on. They win at the end of the day. I know it's not. It's a joke because people are saying everything is socialism. But in terms of it is everybody contributing to this program, whether they benefit directly from it or not, to help out those who do eventually need to benefit from it. Socialism only works if there isn't a part. Yes, I know. That's why I specifically said that it is, except for these companies are profiting. They are winning at the end of the day. But I don't have, like, have you guys ever been in a car accident? Or like, have you ever had to, let's go back into house insurance now. Have you ever had to, you know, file a claim for flooding in your house or roof damage, wherever the heck it is, right? Like, when you do finally benefit from your insurance, the amount that you benefited from it probably exceeds how much you paid into it. I've never been in a car. I've never even claimed like a fender bender type thing, let alone like my car being totaled. But I do know people, like I have family members who have, you know, been in a car accident where the car was totaled, and yeah, like, you know, insurance paid off their car and stuff like that, and they were to buy a new car. They likely did not pay more than, you know, the 20, 30, whatever thousand in the lifetime of them paying insurance. So the rest of us are paying for that. All right, relax there, Danny Trump. Dude, Jason in his latest video, against my own will, put my likeliness into a January 6th image for his video. Should I sue him? Fortunately or unfortunately, car insurance is mandatory. Yeah, it does suck to know that I've been paying for car insurance since I not since I was driving. I was under my parents' plan, and they, helped me out until I graduated. So since I was 22, so like for the last 15 years, I've been paying for car insurance. I don't know how much I've paid in total, but I think by this point I might have paid enough to cover a pretty major accident, but definitely I don't think I've paid more than like 40 something thousand to pay off a total Tesla. But for a major accident, I think I've paid enough for. So can I stop paying for insurance now and then just have that floating amount ready to go to apply to the next accident I get into? You pay for it when they raise your insurance rates. Yeah, that sucks too. You could go 30 years contributing tens of thousands of dollars to insurance for either your home or your car. And then as soon as you file a claim and they have to pay something out, they're going to raise your rates as if you didn't just pay, more than your share over the last however many years. So what you're saying is do an insurance scam? You could, but you've seen what happens to people who try to do those insurance scams and then get caught on a dash cam and then they face jail time. I paid home insurance until I saved $50,000 and canceled it. But what if your entire house burns down? Or, what if something happens that is, we're talking like tenfold of the damage? 50,000 could cover a lot of major expenses, but not like total, tornado wipeout or like a California fire that happened to Bitwit Kyle type of home damage. So make sure the person doesn't have a dash cam or a Tesla, which does have built-in dash cam. Then yeah, slam on the brakes in front of them and get rear-ended. That is the insurance scam way. If you have the cash, you don't need insurance. For cars, I could see it. Except if you live in a state where it's mandatory. You just get the bare minimum insurance. Don't get any of the fancy stuff. Get the cheapest insurance. But for a home, I don't know many people who have the cash to cover their entire home and all the belongings inside. It's funny I say that. I'm not simping for insurance companies, but also like you hear of all these stories of like when these natural disasters and stuff happen, people lose their homes, and then the insurance companies are fighting tooth and nail to not pay out the claim. Like, what are you even here for if you're not even gonna do your job? I guess I know what you're here for. You're here to profit without doing any work. That's the American dream. This is why I make sure to have a minor wreck once a decade. How do you make sure of that? Yeah, I hear about this all the time. I don't know how black and white it is. If someone comes to your property and get hurt, they can sue you for a lot. Like, you hear that all the time, but I mean, can't anyone like, I don't think it's as simple as that. There's no way it's as simple as that. Because then I would just fly to Texas, run around Jason's house as fast as I can and try to trip on every rock and like crack in his driveway and sue him for a lot of money. It doesn't work like that. Wait, did you guys say you're going to Costco? Oh, okay, never mind then. Huh? I mean, we do need milk. And if the girls are up anyways... Okay. You don't want to go with Cindy? Okay. I just thought I heard the girls running around in the shoes, so I thought... Oh, you going to the mall? Might as well go to Costco. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Can I come over when I'm there next month for an unrelated reason? Nope. You're not coming over when you come to PAX. If you can sue for him using your likeness, then sue him in other ways. If you can't sue him for using your likeness, then sue him in other ways. Let's pull this image up. Look, do we sue Jason or not? Where is that image that he put up?
This
Jason's
PC right
video
here
is
costs
killing
only
it.
three.
2 days, almost 20k views. Budget builds are in. Where's that image at? Oh, it was like at the 2-minute mark because I left a comment.
Very conservative, much like Nerd on a Budget in a few years.
Look at this. Oh, never mind. This wasn't January 6th. This was just a rally. All right, bye. First of all, does this even look like me? This doesn't look like me, does it? Look, the answer to that will let me know how racist you are. How much does this look like me? That's just some random Asian dude. A lot of white folk around there. Jason is, dude. I feel like this is a bit of a risky joke, not for using my likeness, but just for putting political content in a tech video. Though I'm not sure, did anyone except for that one person make a comment on it? Except for the person who said sick burn on Nerd on a Budget. Did anyone else make a comment about the joke? Oh, two minutes was super random. Yeah, I'm not seeing. I know you put a lot of effort into. Oh, what? Bro, what? He just lost a subscriber. Ancient West, you're not in the chat right now, are you? Bro, people actually thought the joke was real. Oh, okay. Someone did say pathetic, bringing politics into PC building. Yeah, I mean, PC building is affected by politics. Obviously, Jason was making a joke. I don't understand people taking the joke so seriously. But, wow. No one that I saw, but they may have gotten filtered by YouTube. Scary close. I'll definitely be questioning you in a murder case. AI taking jobs in real time. Farmers, good insurance company, and definitely pay. What insurance companies do you guys have for your home and car insurance? We're talking about car insurance now. I think there's a forgotten channel on the Discord server called, yep, General Insurance Inquiries. It is locked now. But we did have, I don't know why I made this channel. This was back in 22. It became a channel where we talked about cars and car insurance for a little bit. But I think I was trying to show off I'm an Emerald member. I think I might be beyond Emerald now on I have Progressive for home and car insurance. But, yeah. What do you guys have? If you made the joke about me, it would be the opposite because I live in Texas. That's just how it works, lol. Okay, I gotta go respond to Ancient West because Ancient West is a name that I do recognize. I mean, if someone isn't able to put 2 and 2 together that was a joke, then I don't know if that much value was lost in them unsubscribing. But still, I'm very curious, like how they even thought the joke was real. Okay, you think he's joking? I did not get /S vibe from that. I think, like, the way that Ancient West wrote that would be how an actually upset person would write it, you know? Like, they didn't use excessive caps or, like, emojis or, like, I don't know, any super extreme sarcasm or something like that. Always Geico. You got Geico. Always go straight to the insurance company and not the shopping sites. They are a scam. Oh yeah, you talking about the ones that like try to like, you know, take in your information and then run some fancy algorithms and then get you good prices. I actually need to call and try to lower my rates. Cause yeah, I agree with you guys. Paying for that also sucks. I think I have to pay coming up here soon. And we have 3 cars. I really want to take the Civic and Yaris off and only pay for the Tesla because we take it most of the time. But then I sometimes take either of the other 2 cars, so I have to have insurance. I need to tell the insurance agent, like, dude, I drive these cars less than 30 days a year. What rate can you get me? I will take a picture of my mileage. I'm sick of paying for car insurance for cars that I don't drive just in the case of emergencies or one-off situations. You have AAA? Wait, AAA? AAA? Not the company that comes tows your car? Or do they have insurance under them as well? Weekend driver. I think I've seen some insurance companies do that. If only we could be rolling. Well, you could get an e-bike or a scooter. Yeah. Golf carts. If you lived in a walkable city, golf carts would work. But not if you live in the suburbs. Bro, Gray just brought a truck. He pays $300 a month? Brother, that's $1,800 for one truck. I just paid did I just pay insurance or I have it coming out for the Model Y, the 2014 Civic, and my 2009 Yaris. Every 6 months for coverage for me and Melissa, it is bundled with our home insurance. We pay $1,270. That was the last bill, $1,270. That's for 3 cars. The Tesla is about half of our insurance, and then the other 2 cars combined is about the other half. So, but dude, $300 a month. That's $1,800 for 6 months for a truck. Why? Is he a new driver? Has he not had his driver's license for that long? That's crazy to think about. A certain amount of mileage, I pay $34 a month. Okay, yeah, I need to call Progressive. And I need to look into the options of companies that do give lower rates for cars that aren't driven much. It's like a 2017 truck. How much was a truck if you're willing to share or if he doesn't care? A 2017 truck. Well, no. Car insurance. Well, are you saying 2017 is old or new? So 2017 truck puts it at 9-ish years old. $300 a month for a $60,000 truck. Sounds about right. A 9-year-old $60,000 truck. Sounds about right. I mean, for our Tesla, which is, I guess our Tesla was only like 47,000. Paying $750, so we're paying like $130-ish a month. Is that right? $130? Yeah, about $130 a month for the Model Y, and it's the EV, and it's 2025. I don't know. That still sounds expensive. Like, yeah, it depends on if you have liability or full coverage. Oh, yeah. I totally forgot about that. Like, it depends on if you own it outright or if you still owe, because you have to get better coverage if you took out a loan on it. Yeah, okay. Yeah. You got to take those into consideration too. Okay. Yeah. It was a $20,000 truck. Oh, that seems like $300 a month for some reason just seems high then. Yeah, because that's not like a new truck. It's a 9-year-old truck, and it wasn't the MSRP. It was 20,000. And I don't know what the Kelly Blue Book on it is, but yeah. Any car insurance company that has a huge... I mean, that would be all of them, right? Like most of the major ones. I guess Brutal Gin, what do you have? Geico, Progressive, Farmers, Allstate, the General. I feel like those all have a decent ad spend because I've seen ads for them over the years. I don't know which one has the most ad spend, but I feel like it would be hard to choose. I know there are smaller car insurance companies or just insurance companies in general. Like I keep on getting ads for Lemonade, so maybe they're not a good one because I keep on seeing ads. But yeah, like I guess even going on like frugal wallet type websites, which is meant to like save money, I feel like they still recommend those major ones. Bro also wanted to make sure his monthly payment was only $300, so he has like a 15% interest rate. Did you just shake your head and in disappointment? Does he need a truck? Does his work require a truck? Okay, we're back to the truck conversation that we haven't had in a long time. I understand people who want a truck because they work in the trades or something and they're hauling, you're a contractor, you work with your hands, you do stuff like that, you need a truck. But and I know we live in a free country, you can do whatever the hell you want with your own money, but I just don't understand people who buy trucks and they just drive it as a commuter car and they don't haul anything except for maybe once a year in which you could rent a U-Haul truck or you could just rent a truck on Turo or whatever for. Like, what do we think the percentage of people who buy trucks, like these big trucks, and don't haul anything versus the ones who actually do haul? Like, of all the truck sales in 2025, what do you think the percentage is of people who do haul versus don't haul? And again, obviously people can do whatever the hell they want. I'm being very judgmental right now. Like, I'm going to say it right now, I look down on people who buy these trucks that are gas guzzlers that, if you hit a family in a small car, you'll probably kill them. Like these overly large, needlessly large vehicles, and don't actually use them for why they are large in the first place and why they are gas guzzlers in the first place, I'm being judgmental right now. Dark Danny hat on. 60% don't haul, that would be your guess. You think there's been a survey? You think AI could pull up some survey that was taken about this? Maybe they actually want to be that friend. Yeah. Oh, that's true. I would say that's a little bit more noble. The best truck is your friend's truck. But I don't know. I guess if you want to be that friend with the truck to constantly be helping people haul things because, out of the goodness of your heart and you're just a jolly person, then that I would look down on you. I wouldn't even look down on you at all. I think that's very noble, actually. But I don't even know if a lot of the truck drivers that even I personally know are those type of people. Big people in big trucks are 90% of road rage, and they'll fight you when you bring that up. Where do you get these stats from? I really want to drive, but sightseeing really distracts me from the traffic. ADHD here. Yeah, you gotta pay attention to the road. Yes, trucks, SUVs. I want what's a K truck? What's a KEI truck? Is that a category of truck I've never heard of? What's that truck? Oh, one of these cool Japanese trucks. Japanese K trucks. Yeah, these are cool. Also, the Slate truck. This thing supposedly starting at 25,000, even though that's like for the base model with no power window, no radio, no nothing. Like, you are literally getting something that can just drive. And then as soon as you want things, like, I think for an average build out of this, like with like more amenities, like a radio and power stuff, I think it's probably well over 30,000. But I'm just looking at this from the size, and it's an electric truck, which is kind of interesting because as you haul, if you haul things, I'm sure your range goes down like crazy. But like size wise, yeah, these things look pretty sweet. And you know, they're enough to still haul like a fridge around and stuff. They're not super long, so you will have things hanging off the back. And it's not like it's super wide either. So there will be limitations, but electric, which for me would be awesome just because I have level 2 charging at home, low price relatively, and then like relatively compact size. This wouldn't work with the family, obviously, because you only have the main cabin, which would hold what, 2, maybe 3 people. I don't know if there's a center seat, but yeah, this like smaller trucks like this in the K truck. I didn't know the other ones were called K trucks. Yeah, these things are pretty. I think most people who look at these think these are awesome. He's happy with it. No, but like all truck drivers, he has a small penis and needs to feel big. So it is what it is. I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, you know, people are going to spend the money that however they're going to spend. So long as the cost of the truck, the monthly payments, and the insurance does not put him in a financial... Wait, I forget. Does Grace still live with you right now, or did he move out already? I would say, yeah, let people do whatever with their own money and their own lives until it starts affecting you directly. Like, if they owe you rent, then that's another story. Like, why are you making these poor financial decisions? I'm going to judge you. But otherwise, then yeah, people can do whatever they want. That chilled IT guy. I forgot to say that chill edit guy. Hi Danny, I want to gift the PC to friends' kids for a flight sim. It has an i7 2600K, but I need a good GPU for a flight sim, hopefully. Dude, i7 20... When you say flight sim, you mean like Microsoft Flight Simulator? And what version? Or are you talking about different flight sims? I'm not well versed with regards to flight sims. But you need a good GPU for under 100 CAD. 100 Canadian. What is that even in USD? I'm thinking, so that's probably what, like wait, 100 CAD. Oh, that's actually a decent amount because it goes the other way. Yeah, that's like, you can get an RX 580. RX 580 is going to be like the best you can get outside of a good deal. Lucky people will be able to get like a GTX 1070 for 71 bucks. But it's not very likely because those are closer to 100. I mean, you're going to have to like be going on these apps and not lowballing people, but putting in offers. 71 bucks solidly gets you an RX 580 8GB. And you might be able to like save some money. You should be able to get for 100 CAD. I would think if you look for like a week or so, you should be able to get a decent amount under RX 580 8GB. Yeah, that... Dude, what else can you get for this amount of money? There's not much more. You could 1060 NVIDIA cards just hold their value, and I don't think they're worth it over the 580. And yeah, outside of a good deal, you're pretty much sitting on RX 580 with this amount of money. People that have trucks don't have friends, but dream of the day that someone asks them to help them move. I'm the exact opposite. Moving is like, I don't know what about moving. I hate it so much. Whether I'm doing the moving or someone else is doing the moving. I'm trying to think of how many times I've had to move in my life. Is it because we've moved around, you know, since childhood a decent amount? Like, I'm at the point where I want to stay in this house that me and my wife are in forever. Like, I'm done moving. Like, no more moving. Even if a nice, good deal house came around, I would be tempted to just say, screw it, stay here just for the convenience of not having to move. XPod X says, collab $500 used PC build challenge video when? The last time I did a build challenge collab was, I think it was $400, right? And that was with PC Tech Hustle, Pinky Tech, and John the Net Guy. Let's see if I can bring it up. What year was that? It's been a while. Here it is. It's been 3 years? That feels like it was like 1 year ago. That was June 2023. So a little bit over 3 years ago. I think this was the last build. I've done other collabs since then, but not build specific collabs. So about build collabs, and I've spoken on this in the past before. Build collabs are really difficult to do simply because people have different schedules. And they have, you know, everyone's focused on their, like, have you noticed that at least in the medium to small channel range, you don't see many collabs? And even when it comes, I guess for large channels, you see a lot more collabs, or at least guest, you know, cameos and stuff like that. But you almost rarely see it, especially in the PC DIY building space. And I think it's because the amount of time and effort that goes into the collab is a lot. You guys as viewers don't realize it, but like even when I did this collab, there is so much coordination to make this video happen. To the point where like I feel like a lot of creators don't want to do it. I would be down for doing this collab. The only issue is when you collab, you have to put in constraints that, you know, you have to put like a time limit and all of that. So when you do that, it puts a bind on people and their schedules because they're working on their videos that they're doing alone and they're working on the collab. And not only do you have to come up with like a very detailed rule set to make it fair, but also like every step of the way from when you guys decide to collab to like the benchmarking process to comparing the scores to finishing the video, it is at least like 3 to 4 times the work as an average video, if I had to say. Like when I make a video on my own, it's to my own schedule. I can find parts whenever I, you know, feel like it and stuff like that. With the collab, you have to set like a time limit. You only have a week to 2 weeks. You can only search for parts from this place. You have to show proof that you got these parts. So, I wouldn't be against a collab, but it would have to be with people I would want to collab with. And I think other people need to step up, because I would say in most of the collabs, I've had to put in a little bit more effort to make sure things go right, or like to overlook some stuff and to like, you know, make sure like the rules are fair, the benchmarking process. Like for almost all the collabs, I think I'm usually the one who spearhead the grading and scoring criteria, just because if you don't make it fair, the viewers are going to get pissed off when their favorite creator doesn't win for whatever reason. And also, I think if you are going to put together all this effort, you do need to make the competition as fair as possible. So that's where weighted scoring and all that stuff comes in. $500 PC. I can already guess what the specs are going to be though. Probably like a RX 6600 type graphics card, like a 5000 series. But then you're going to have to go minimal on SSD and RAM. The build challenge thing also, build competition type video. That's why in recent years I've gravitated towards having to use websites like eBay, just because it's unfair for some people to have a thriving used marketplace where they can find these once in a blue moon unicorn deals and like, hey, I just got a 1 terabyte SSD for $20. Like, it normalizes all the deal hunting when you say you can only buy parts on eBay or Amazon or, you know, stuff like that. That's accessible to everybody. But I don't think I would want to do a build challenge where everyone's looking in their own local markets anymore, which is what we used to do like back when I started the channel. Like when I used to collab with like Toasty Bros and Oz and all of them, Scatterbolt. We used to do the build type competitions where we were finding parts in a local market. But over the years, I've just found like if you win finding a unicorn deal, it doesn't feel good. and you get people accusing you of like cheating or making up the deals and stuff like that, where I would much prefer doing normalized deals, like online deals, not only because it puts everyone on the same level playing field, but also if you use it as a build guide, it is more applicable to the average viewer than saying, hey, I just found, 32 gigs of RAM for like 10% of the going market rate. When you move, you wonder where all the crap came from. Oh, dude. You're telling me. Yeah. You guys have seen my studio down here. Recently, I have been trying to week by week, like, get rid of stuff, but it's a long process. I kind of need to just have a garage sale and just sell a bunch of stuff off at the same time, like at once. But the difficult thing about that is being having a presence on YouTube. I don't want to have a yard sale at my house. So then I gotta pack up all these like PC parts or builds and stuff like that and go meet somewhere else publicly and try to sell out of the back of my car, yard sale style. Yeah, so I've been slowly listing things on like OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace, but you guys know these apps, like the messages come through very slowly. People lowball all the time. They ghost, all that stuff. Like getting rid of a lot of stuff via those apps, for me, is like the safest way to do it, but it's also like painstakingly slow. How about one of those 9050 video wall 4GB cards with a power connector? Wait, what do you mean by that? What is the context of that? You face the fact of what a pack rat. I admit it. I'm a pack rat. You guys see it every single LAN party story prep video that happens at my house. You guys know exactly how much of a pack rat I am when I do the pre-LAN video showing my, my cleanup and stuff like that. Yeah, I feel like Washington Marketplace is really hard. Then you see people in California buying 58. Washington I would say Washington, greater Seattle area is pretty good. As you get further away, it gets a little worse. I would say from what I've seen, and every time I go to California, I do take a look at the local market to see if I can pick up anything cheap. California does seem to have just like the best deals. New York might be good too. I think there's a correlation or trend of if there's a micro center in the area, then the secondhand market will be pretty good. Joe P says, I have a brand new brand new, like unopened, sealed box. Let's see. Stock MSI 1070 Ti titanium. Wait, what? 1070 Ti. There was never a titanium named model, was there? I know Ti is titanium, but was there ever an MSI titanium model? Let me see. Because I don't think you would have said titanium twice. It's MSI titanium GPU. Titanium usually refer to silver gray aesthetic. Oh, is that what you have meant? The color? Yeah, see, like... let's see. So there was... So yeah, this is the titanium model of the 1070 Ti, which Ti also stands for titanium or whatever. But, okay. You have it. It was sealed when I got it, and yes, I did open it. I may use it for a budget build. Dude, this is the titanium ones. These actually look pretty sick. I liked these MSI gaming cards from this era, with the kind of like the design on the shroud. Like they had it in this, the half red, half black, and then some of the special edition green and black ones. But I don't remember ever seeing the titanium one, the half titanium color, half black. This one actually looks pretty sick. I got a 7700X. Is the 9850 X3D worth the upgrade? Chat, what do you guys say? I say no. I say if you got a AM5 Ryzen 7 processor, no matter what it is, to me, it's not worth it. First, and a 90... Wait, what? What is the price of these? So we're talking about $470 from Micro Center. Is it worth the upgrade? I need one of those signs. Because we talked about this. It was probably like 2 weeks ago. Is it worth the upgrade? Well, it depends, which isn't the answer you want to hear. But the real answer you want to hear is, are you not enjoying your 7700X to the point where you want to spend more money to upgrade? Like, when you game on your 7700X, are you saying like, oh my god, this is horrible. I need something now. I need to upgrade. Or are you like, this is pretty good. I'm fine with this. If you're fine with it, don't spend more money. Put it in your 401k like we talked about earlier. This is what I'm talking about. I don't know. Maybe your 401k is already super fat as it is. Maybe you're already maxing out your 401k. But put it in your savings account. Put it in a high yield saving account. I don't know. Do something with it. I think a 7700X is still a very capable graphics card. I don't even know what GPU you have paired with it. But I can confidently say, even if you had a 5090, it would be fine. It is only a CPU upgrade, so why not? But I would wait one more gen to upgrade. And like, there's so many factors that go into it. Are you a millionaire? Like, do you make like 7 figures a year, or you know, is $469, or I guess minus whatever you could sell the 7700X for? Is that an insignificant amount of money for you? I would think not, because you would have just bought it if it was insignificant. But it's an amount of money where you are asking the question, is it worth it? So you're somewhat like, you know, financially responsible because you haven't already bought it yet and you're trying to decide. But I mean, the 7700X is not a bad CPU by any means. It's fine. People watch too many videos and look at too many charts of 1% lows. If the 1% low, like, let's just look at it. I'll pull up a prime example here. We'll go to YouTube. We'll go to Hardware Unbox. Actually, we'll go to the specific review. Hardware Unbox 9850 X3D. 9850X. Okay, let's look at the charts. Stop. Where is their... Oh no. He only did one-on-one? Dang it. I was hoping he had a whole thing of like, he did one on 77. There's no 7700X on here. There's a 9700X. Well, let's just did he have another video? Or I should say, do they? Because obviously it's not just Steve there. But I just said he because of... Alright, let's just pretend... Okay, let's just pick the worst CPU out of these charts. 14 game average. So, let's take a look at... let me see. Let's just pretend...
Okay, so...
The 5800 X3D is what we're comparing to. No, probably. So it's gonna be something worse than the 9700X, right? Because you have a 7700X. So this is with an RTX 5090. Keep in mind, and this is at 1080p, which is like the worst case scenario. As soon as you drop that graphics card from a 5090, and as soon as you up the resolution from 1080p and you up from medium to ultra, look at this. Between the 9700X, and I know it's not a 7700X, we're just using it because it's the best we have, you can scale it later. 9850 X3D, you get 201 average FPS compared to 162. Now you could say that's a pretty big jump, But again, we're at 1080p Ultra. You up it to 1440p to 4K, that the gap closes even more. Wait, do we have?
Here's the 1450
1440p
expected,
let me
and I
see.
mean, he's not different average.
Dang it, he's only showing 1080p data. Which I think it's enough information for me to know. Even between 162 average FPS to 201 and 118 FPS for the 1% lows to 151. So we know it's going to be a lot smaller of a gap when you have a worse graphics card and when you are playing at the appropriate resolutions for this hardware. Are we like that unhappy with 162 and 118 that we want to spend $400 something to get 201 and 151? You know what I'm saying? I can understand if when you're gaming, your 1% lows and your frame times and frame pacing was like 30 and it's like a stuttery mess, but that's not the case with the 7700X. It is still perfectly capable. So you got to ask yourself, are you in a like financially well off enough that good performance isn't good enough for you and you need the best? Or can you sit tight, save your money, and then when the next generation or next platform, whatever, come out, then you can splurge and feel much better about it? It's up to you. I would not upgrade from a 7700X to a 9850 X3D, especially not knowing the details. Like, I don't know, are you playing League of Legends or CS2, where it might make more of a difference? But even then, I don't know. I feel like a 7700X can handle CS2 just fine. If your 1% lows is over 100 FPS, don't upgrade. Honestly, I'm willing to go even further. I'm willing to go, if it's over 60 FPS, you don't even need to upgrade. Like, 1% lows, if you were to lay out all the running FPS or frame times for whatever your benchmarking run is, 1% lows is literally the value at where 1% of it is that or worse, which means 99% of the times it's above that. And if you were to look at like even 10% lows or something, you know, it's going to be like an exponential curve, the way it drops off, most likely. It's not linear. So the majority of the time, the gameplay will be like really smooth regardless. As long as your 1% lows don't drop to like literally, you know, 30 or something. A 7700X is, yeah, that's why I'm okay with looking at the 9700X in the charts. I think it's fine. You can knock off a few percent if you want, but... Did that, Raul Romo, did that help? Hopefully. Sorry, I didn't mean to get so, like, hopefully, I probably sounded, like, more scoldy in my tone. I only sounded like that because we have this conversation almost every week on the stream, which is okay, because the stream is meant for people to ask questions and to get help and things like that. But I want people to realize that, like, just because something better exists doesn't mean you have to have it. Like, or just because the best exists doesn't mean you have to have it. If you have good or great and you already own it, why do we want to spend more money? Like, do we think we're going to get $400 worth of enjoyment or happiness out of getting that $400 or $460 something CPU versus what we currently already own? It goes back to what we keep on saying every single week. Like, I think the modern PC gamer cares more about the specs they have, and they care more about tinkering with their PC more than using their PC for its intended purpose, which, for whatever it is, playing games, you know, editing photos and videos, you know, day trading, whatever. Like, I think if people turned off the performance metrics and just played games and enjoyed, then people would save a lot more money. and they wouldn't be asking this type of question as much. Okay, so hopefully I just saved you $460 something. Just enjoy your 7700X. Do know that what can you share what GPU you have paired with it? I'm willing to bet that your PC is well above the average PC gamer. Like, you probably have a PC that's nicer than the majority of people in this chat right now. Just based on your CPU that you shared with us, I think you already have a pretty good PC. Use it until the point where you literally cannot stand using it anymore because the FPS is so bad that, you know, you have to turn the graphics down and now you're not happy with it. Use it till that point. Until then, just ignore tech reviews, ignore what the prices are doing, and just play games or do whatever you're doing with it. Every dollar in the GPU counts triple at gaming. Yeah, so this is something that I revisit anytime I do a CPU revisit. Like, you would be surprised how capable CPUs are. This is why you could, I'm still, like, when I pick up, like, some Haswell i7 old-ass build, like, I can still run modern games on it because CPUs, while they are important for games, the graphics card is going to be your primary performance, like, driver. And you can make old CPUs last longer than you can GPUs. Like, using a 10-year-old CPU, which is something that came out in 2016, so like early Ryzen or something, using something like that versus a 10-year-old graphics card, like, the CPU, I think, is more capable than the graphics card is from 10 years ago. That chilled IT guy is asking Ken. I just watched the 2 free PCs video. How's your new one doing? Because Unc Ken checked in saying guilty of building a performance PC for games that I can play on my phone. Cough. Yeah, Unc Ken built a nice 9070 XT build and has nice monitors and all that stuff. I guess, Unc, what are you playing these days? You know, I've been having the itch. In my latest video, I went and tested World of Warcraft. I'm having such a big itch to renew my WoW subscription and to play retail. For some reason, I got a comment on that 1650 Super video in my WoW segment. Multiple people commented on the WoW. Apparently, people want to see WoW benchmarks. So I am going to include WoW benchmarks more, I think, in future videos. But they told me I was testing in Elwyn Forest, which is not as demanding as the newer zones. So I had to go back in, and I set up a character in a Dragonflight zone because I can't get into the War Within or Midnight zones because you have to be a certain level, and I'm cheap and I don't have a ongoing subscription, so I can only play characters up to level 20. So the furthest zone I can do expansion wise is Dragonflight. So then this past weekend I was setting up my character so I could do benchmarks in Dragonflight zones. And I was like, oh my god, this is giving me the huge itch to hop back into WoW Retail. Which I haven't played WoW Retail since... I wouldn't even count War Within. I bought War Within, I played it for like a few days, and then I got busy and just didn't. So I wasted money buying that. But the last time I played was probably Battle for Azeroth. Like, a decent amount of an expansion. So I've been wanting to hop back in. Now they have player housing and stuff like that. Yeah. Hey, what up, Tyler? Yes, for sure. Thank you for putting together that. I'll probably pull it up. We haven't determined the next LAN date yet, but the week before the next LAN, we could probably play that on stream. And then at the LAN, hopefully we have time. I'm sure all my LAN friends, all my friends would be down to play that during the LAN. So yeah, hopefully I remember to and have time to do it. If we do it during the week before LAN, then I will likely remember it during LAN. And I'll tell my friends to remind me too. I haven't shared it with them yet because I don't want them to look at the answers. I had to look at the answers to spot check, but yeah, I want them to see it blind. You not hyped for the 100,000 player lobbies? I guess you love this scam. Enjoy your potato builds. Wait, what are we talking about? CMM. Are you? Let's see. Stop bending over. Ask for better. Only the best. X86 is huge money. Laundry scam. You stuck in 1980. Wait, what? You PC nerds have no clue what tech we have. What are you trying to say? I don't understand. 1080p in 2026 to play mobile games. Wait, who was talking about that? I think I missed a huge part of the conversation. All right, have a good night, Pete. Time for pizza. Nice. I don't even know what's for dinner tonight. Melissa, my sister-in-law, and the girls went to the mall. I don't know if they're going to bring back food. So it might just be leftovers, pork ribs and rice or whatever tonight. You should add FF14 since you can download a benchmark for it. I have run the FF14 benchmark before. It's such a long benchmark. It's like 5 to 7 minutes or something like that. That's one thing I hate about it. Because usually when I do in-game benchmark runs for stuff, I try to make them like anywhere from 60 seconds to maybe 2 minutes max. But like when you do benchmarks, you want to do multiple passes. So then doing multiple passes of a 7-minute benchmark is, oh my god, that is so long for one game. And then imagine if you're testing multiple graphics card or multiple resolutions. Oh, that just multiplies it. FF14, I guess they have a free trial thing, right? Up to like whatever level. I could do that, I guess. But between those two, if I'm going to test one MMO for my benchmarks, it's going to be WoW. Like, hands down. I also tested Throne and Liberty in the past before too when I was playing that. But like, just for general all-around benchmarks, I think MMO-wise, I think I might just stick with WoW. But, I mean, I appreciate the suggestion. I do like FF14 as like, you know, just as a game itself. I played it briefly during Heaven's Word. So this is many years ago. But no, I think competition in the MMO space is good, and I think between like Guild Wars 2, Final Fantasy 14, WoW, and a handful of other decently healthy ones, I respect all of them. But WoW will just always have a special place in my heart. Like WoW, yeah. Danny, for a nugget of 650 CAD, what's the best specs for 1080p PC for Fortnite, CS2, and Roblox? I can only do it based on US market, unfortunately. But we're talking about 450 USD. I mean, let's take a look. Let's take a look at what the PC sellers and flippers in my market are letting go of their systems for. And again, obviously this will not apply to you locally, but we'll see. It'll give me a good starting point on what to recommend. You started playing WoW Ascension? Yeah, the private servers thing, that I just hate when Blizzard cracks down. And then they, sorry, Xpod, I see your message. I'm gonna get to it. My ADHD is super kicking in right now. I'm not ignoring your message. But Ascension WoW. Yeah, I've been following the private servers quite a bit. The last one I tried to play was Turtle WoW, and then they got the cease and desist. They had to shut down. They keep popping up, but it's just like losing progress on a game like that. I know it's about the journey, not the destination, but losing in an MMO, losing your tune to private servers shutting down prematurely is not. I've already had that happen during Nostalrius and some of the other Lights Hope and stuff like that. I don't want to do private servers anymore. I'm just gonna wait for Classic Plus, then we'll be good. But okay, before we get into the PCs, XPod X. What's the lowest you spend on a PC to include cable extensions? Oh, wait. Thanks. First of all, thank you for the multiple super chat donations tonight. What's the lowest you'll spend on a PC to include? You mean so like what price point? Honestly, cable extensions. It depends on what your definition of cable extensions are, because I've talked about these before. I think the most important cable extension to put on if you're gonna go for budget, usually because of crappy power supplies and budget power supplies, is a 24-pin black extension. These can be had for a few bucks. Okay, nope. Hair extensions. They make these very plain ones. Oh, it is free, but I'm trying to find one with actual price. Okay, so you see these. So the ketchup and mustard is most prominent on. Oh my god. Why are we doing this, AliExpress? Okay, we're going to Amazon because AliExpress doesn't like it when you're on an incognito window. Black cable extension, but you guys get the drift. Black cable extension, 24-pin. So they sell these, you know, combed, sleeved, nice ones for like 14 bucks. But if you're doing a very budget build, you don't need it to be sleeved and cabled. Where's the cheap ones? Like, I'm looking for the ones that aren't even sleeved. They're gonna be something like this, and on AliExpress they're like $2 to $3. On Amazon they're like $7 just because drop shippers, etc. But like, do we count this as cable extensions? Because I have put this on like $200 builds to get rid of ketchup and mustard. But if you're talking about like $20 to $30 cable extensions, you know, like the typical one that you think of, or I guess, yeah, around $20, you can get all white ones for 17. I would put this on like $350, $400 builds. 18 bucks is not much to elevate the look of a build if you're flipping or something like that. I'm not someone who needs cable extensions in every build. If a build's cheap enough, I'm gonna say, you know what, my expectations are, you know, they're tame with what the build costs. Like, I guess it's cool if you could fit in $20 extensions to a $200 build, but you're looking at 10% of the cost there that could have otherwise gone to getting better components. But the lowest price for these types of extensions, I think once I get below 300 bucks, I'm just going to get this thing if it has ketchup and mustard on the 24-pin. There's usually not too much ketchup and mustard on PCIe ones. It's usually only yellow and black. And then for the CPU one, similar story, is usually yellow and black. For some reason, the ketchup and mustard is very, very common on 24-pin. I guess because there's so many pins, just for the diagram, it's easier to, like, you know, to match what pin is what. But yeah, that's the answer to your question. Hopefully that's good. Full kits, yeah. So if you're talking about full kits like this, I would say like maybe 350 to 400 is the minimum. And below that, I'm getting the cheap stuff. Surlier, what is this brand? Surler. Oh my goodness. They're dirt cheap. 24 bucks, 18. I mean, and you're saying there's 16 AWG? Do they mention that specifically here? Yep, 16 AWG. So they are pretty much standard, not super thin, cheapo cables. Yeah, I mean, for all white kit for less than 20 bucks, kind of hard to beat. 17 if you are okay with black cables with clear cable combs. But extensions eventually go bad after a few years. I just ripped some out of my nephew's gaming PC. Really? I have put a number, like, the PC I did for Jan, what year was that? 2020, 2021, somewhere around there. That extension's going fine. The extensions I've put in all of my, like, family and friends PCs that I built for them. I've never had a callback, or like them saying like, hey, something's wrong with my PC, and it ended up being the extension. I don't doubt. So here's the thing about extensions. I think using extensions, you're adding another point of failure into a system that wouldn't otherwise have had it. Like if you just direct connect and all that stuff, that's one less part that could potentially fail. So there's that, and it's added cost for aesthetics, right? I don't think it is common for extensions to fail. Otherwise, you would see way more like Reddit threads popping up and people making like, beware, like extensions will go bad inevitably. I mean, I think it uses the connectors use the same plastic as power supply, stock cables do, the 1680 WG wires and like the pins and stuff. Like it's just using very similar components to what a power supply already has. So it probably has the same like lifespan with regards to how long it should last. I feel like it might just be bad luck if you are seeing more extensions fail than like PSUs or something. But for $600 in Denver, you can get that. I don't know if I believe that. Well, actually, let's take a look at our market. $600 for a 12700K system with a 6700K, 16 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte SSD. That to me, that's like a really good deal. That's like a snatch setup right now because someone else will. I don't think that's common price. That's like deal hunting, good find. I don't doubt that a deal like this exists, but let's just take a look at my local market. So let's go back to the question. So if we look at gaming PC, so $500 gets you a 1660 Super i3 10th gen here. Okay, that's just one example. Let's see if we can find a good deal. $400 for an RX 580 gaming PC. Okay, we're not looking at this here. So the person who originally asked that question, so you were at like $450. So let's just put 500 max in my market for now. And let's see, what is this Redmond PC? i5 8400 5060 for 500. I know this is an 8th gen Intel, which is pretty old by this point, and it's an i5 8400. I think, is this the weakest 8th gen i5? Because the 80, they might have had mobile ones weaker, but the 580 is doing a lot of the carrying of the weight. For a fully working build, 16 gigs of RAM, I'm assuming there's storage in here. Even despite the CPU being not the best, I'm already saying like this is going to be one of the competitive picks in my local market. They promoted it too. Interesting. They paid to have it shown in the front. But let's see what else we can find. Budget gaming PC for $500 here. What do we got? 5 days ago, 1660 Super 8700K. Ooh, so you're trading, you get a weaker graphics card, but you're getting a 7th gen 8700K is still pretty solid. And a half terabyte NVMe SSD. This one's 500, huh? Okay. Is this a PC flipper? Fully tested, can provide videos, performance runs. Okay. All right. So we got these two so far. Dude, the 5060 though is a decent amount better than the 1660 Super. Okay, so we got that one. What else do we have? 3060 PC. Here we go. Wow, and it's got this crazy, isn't this the Cougar case? It's the Cougar case, isn't it? So Kenny is selling this PC for $500. 12100F, 3060. How much RAM? 16 gigs of RAM. How much is storage on here? 500 gig SSD. Yeah, most of these, I mean, come on, 1 terabytes are going for like $130. So people are gonna price appropriately. And most of these are probably gonna have half terabyte drives. Okay. That one is it's not bad. It is an i3, but at least it's 12th gen. And like overall for the performance for what, 500 bucks? This you're getting a 30. Wait, which 3060 are we getting? They didn't say if it's 8 or 12 gig. But like you're seeing the trend here, right? Outside of a good lucky deal, you're getting builds around this range. So like for 450 whatever you said in Canadian. Remember, we're not looking at 450 USD. We're looking for a little bit more expensive. So you can kind of only expect these kinds of specs or even worse. Oh, here's an RTX 3050 PC, which is not the best, for 480. So this has a 11400F, so at least it's an i5, but 11th gen. 24 gigs of RAM, that has to be DDR4. 3050 plus a 1.8 terabyte, so 2 terabyte spinning drive. This one, even with the 3050 for 480, this also isn't a horrible deal. Obviously, we want a better graphics card, but like, look, you're getting more storage than any of the other builds. You are still getting like a somewhat recent platform. You're getting 24 gigs of RAM, so for the games that are cutting it close to 18 where you might have problems, you get that 8 extra gig buffer, even though it's some weird configuration. So dual channel might be out the window, but capacity is more important anyways. And then a 3050, not the best, but can still run modern games at low settings, 1080p. So there's that. You gonna buy the Steam Machine and do a versus used PC? I don't know, dude. Steam Machine? Are you kidding me? 1,200 bucks? No. Well, it's like 1,050, right? If you can even get one. They're like still constantly sold out, right? But then plus tax, it's closer to like 1,200 at the end of the day. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I will ever buy a... maybe one day, once they're more irrelevant, I'll buy a Steam Machine. But I am not going to pick up a Steam Machine anytime soon. There's no way! The content I will make from it will not pay itself off. Have you seen my views? That to make $1,000 plus from views on YouTube, you need a lot of views. And I'm not getting those views, so... Like here you can get a Ryzen 7 3700X and a 2060 for $645. Yeah, see, once you go below 500, like these types of builds are typically, I would say, probably flippers. Like look at these photos and like, you know, the color coordination with the lights and stuff. Yeah, look at the way these are written. I'm pretty sure I saw, yeah, Ivan Mobile resells. There's profit baked into the price. So that's why we're getting a 9600 KF and a 1660 Super for this. Because this is, but it's 400. So it's a decent amount under 500. This one's 500. This is Port Orchard, Forest Gatewood. Looking to sell a PC I bought earlier this year. Haven't had time to play. Okay, let's look at the specs. Oh, here we go. 5700 XT. I like to see that. Dude, okay, here's... This, I would say, is a good deal. Actually, let me look at the RAM and storage. We've got 16 gigs of RAM, and I'm just going to assume storage is, like, not complete garbage. They don't list it here. And I don't think any of these pictures are showing. But yeah, dude, look at these specs. Ryzen 5600, 16 gigs of RAM, and an RX 5700 XT. Oh, or is it 5700? Wait, where did it go? Yeah, it's a 5700 XT. This is a good deal. I mean, sure, for 600, I would love a 12700K, 6700 XT. That was talked about earlier, but I don't think that's like a going price. That's a unicorn deal, to be honest. I think this is one. So back to your question. For the equivalent of whatever the Canadian was, or 450-ish USD, I mean, this is a lucky deal, I think. I think you're probably looking closer at like a 3000 series Ryzen, like a 3700X, maybe a 3600X. And like hopefully the beefiest graphics card that someone could fit in there and still sell the PC. Which would be, if you're lucky, like a 3060. I think it would be more common to find an RX 6600 or like these 5700 XTs. I think for 450 to 500 bucks USD, you can afford to find something with modern enough CPU and modern GPU like this. I would say the 5700 XT. How many generations back is this? So that you go back one, two. This is 3 gens back. So yeah, I think for 450 USD, you can get something that's within 3 generations on both CPU and GPU side. And I guess, yeah, the CPU is also 3 gens back, isn't it? Let's see. So 9000 series to 7000. No, it's only 2 gens back. But have I seen any budget OLED monitors? Just picked an MSI one up for 350 and it's great. Budget OLEDs. I mean, I think 350 to 400 is about the entry level prices for those, aren't they? I'm not sure if I've seen many that much cheaper aside from one-off like price errors or kind of like luckier deals. How much are 3070s are going for around 250 to 300 in Seattle? You've got them for 215 to 220. 36, yeah, well, I mean, we can take a look. So RTX 3070. 250, 250, 350. So here are builds with them. But yeah, it's about, I don't really see them usually much cheaper than 250. Here's 265, 300 there. The 3060s, I think, are pretty in line with what you're saying, around 200. But let me see, 220, so it's not too far off. Here's 200. But yeah, I mean, based on the prices you're saying, it makes no sense to get 30. Well, you're saying 12 gigabytes, but I'm just saying 3060s in general. I would rather get an 8 gigabyte 3070 for 215 to 220 than pay 200 for a 12 gigabyte 3060. That 4 extra gigabytes of VRAM does you not much good when it's paired with the 3060. The 3070 is gonna like stomp all over it. Just put the right settings on. Like, stop putting the games in weird settings where the 3060 12 gig beats the 3070 because, like, just because you can. I would rather have much better average performance at the right settings with the 3070 with less VRAM than have more VRAM on a 3060. Have I seen the up here 240mm AIO computer case fan? Wait, what is this? Black interface, low noise, enhanced PC cooling on Amazon for $749. What is this? 240 AIO for $749? Wait, what is? There's more to it, but you wrote a ton of stuff. Up here, 240 AIO, low enhanced cool. Okay, whatever this is, I'm about to just paste all of it into Amazon and see if I can find it. This thing. Oh, it's just a. So it's not a. Wait, what? It's not an AIO. Wait, what? Sorry, these images are tripping me out. Okay, yeah, that's not a pump. Wait. What is this? These are just fans, right? Wait, this title, like the images are mostly showing just fan, and then one image is showing perfectly matched with the 240. Dude, are they trying to like make this listing a bit confusing? 3.6 stars. Okay, so I'm guessing we already know what the answer is. But you see, like, perfectly matched with the 240. So this is saying that this product would match well with a 240 radiator. Not that it comes with one. We're just going to show a picture and word it in a way and not make it clear AIO not, or the radiator not included. You know what I'm saying? Like usually companies, when they do stuff like this, they make it very clear. I mean, we should know at $7.50, this thing shouldn't come with a radiator. That would be almost impossible. They would be losing money. But okay, what about this though, Joe P? Why are we bringing this up? 2 fans in 1 unit. Kind of deceiving. Oh, not kind of deceiving. They literally say, like, all they have to do is add one word. Up here, 240 millimeter, like, fan combo. 4 all-in-one liquid cooler radiators or something. The way that they word it is very deceiving. I guess I'll give them some credit where the first 4 images don't show a radiator. But, I mean, why not just call this, because what are these things even called? Like these combined fans? Fan frames or something like that? Why not make it more clear? Okay, let's look at these low reviews though. Is it people complaining that it's not a real, like a full AIO? Looks good. Poor, oh, this person is complaining because of poor performance, not because of the deception. I can't look at any more reviews because I'm not logged in. I mean, I haven't seen this before. This is not unique to like, this product is not unique these days. Many companies have these combined fans to reduce cable clutter. For $750 for 2 fans, I mean, I guess if you really wanted a combined fan, but you're getting pretty budget fans here. Like, yeah, I guess, I mean, technically, it still has the same amount of screw holes. You could put less screws in, you know, around the perimeter, I guess. You don't have to put these inner ones in, or you can only put 2 of these out of the 4 inner ones. But yeah, less screws, less RGB cables, less fan cables, etc. Oh, you just found it interesting? Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting in that it's deceiving and kind of scummy, but, oh my god, it's already 8 p.m., but the family, let me check if they're still at the mall. They are still at the mall right now. Where are they? They are probably getting food at somewhere. So I still have some time left. This is going to be the longest stream that we've had in a while. Over 3 hours. What else you guys want to talk about? Oh no, did I just accidentally close the window? Oh no, it's still here. It's still here. Okay. I mean, $400 gaming PC, Everett, Cyber Clinic. So you can tell this is a reseller or like a PC flipper type person. What do we got here? Ryzen 5 3600. Whoa, 1080 Ti, $400. So it's like a $120 graphics card, 16. Wait, it has a 8 gig stick of RAM. I can switch for 16 gigs. You can switch for free? You need to give more details, man. It has only 8 gigs, 1 stick of 8 gig. You could switch it for 16 gigs. I'm assuming not free, but you need to be explicit and tell people you're going to charge more if you're going to switch it for that. 128 gig SSD, Windows activated, 1 terabyte hard drive. Ooh. Yeah. I like the 1080 Ti. I need to get one still. Founders edition, but what is this person putting RTX 3060 build for $950? I don't even need to see the rest of the specs to know that you can find cheaper. Oh, it's because we're on RTX 3060. Whoops. We were looking for PC builds. I'm gonna put it up to like 600. Like, where's the decently spec'd out good deals at? Here's a $500 PC. What is that? RX 580. Ryzen 5600X, 16 gigs of RAM. They don't even list the graphics card, though we could probably tell by this XFX and the price that it's probably, this looks like the XFX RX 580. Ooh, so sometimes these really cheap ones, $300, that's where you get the crazy good deals from. All right, what is this? So, okay. 2700X, 8 gig RX 580, 16 gigs of RAM, 1.2 terabyte storage. I'm guessing that's split between like a 200 something gig SSD and then a 1 terabyte or 900 gigabyte hard drive. Maybe no SSD. Firm on price. It's hard to get a fully built system that plays almost everything at 60 FPS. RX 580, and you're playing at 60 FPS modern games at the lowest settings, yeah. But $300, I mean, yeah, this is about what you would expect. It does have 16 gigs of RAM, DDR4, which is already worth like, 50 or 60 bucks. 8 gigabyte 580 is about 50 bucks. Case is like 30, PSU like 30 or 40, motherboard 40 or 50, the CPU probably like 50. Bro knows what he's got, no low ballers. Exactly. OfferUp is weird. You cannot review a seller unless you have the app on your phone. OfferUp is a 100% mobile. I mean, you could look up listings and message, but you can't even post to OfferUp on the desk like a browser. You would have to get like a phone emulator on your computer if you wanted to do that. Yeah, it's annoying because I want to use OfferUp from my computer. Like when I upload and write listings and descriptions and stuff, I would love to do it on my computer. I hate having to do it on my phone every single time. But it is what it is. We live in a world where, for sure, more people have phones than they have desktop computers or laptops or tablets or whatever the heck else. Price is so crazy. I'm considering a side grade to a RTX 3080 instead of an actual upgrade. You have a 6800. I guess why even side grade? Do you need NVIDIA? 6800 still can play games like at 1440p medium settings probably. With some upscale FSR. At least you play FSR quality mode though. We are old men. I hate to use my phone when I can use my computer. Yeah, no, using the phone is annoying. Like, for stuff like this. If I have to type more than a sentence, I would definitely prefer to do it on a keyboard than on a touch screen, like, with my thumbs. Danny, you never need to shave, do you? I don't. I do get like little tiny whiskers that if I don't do, it looks really stupid. So I do use like a trimmer just to like clean those off. But I don't have to shave like, for the like big mustache / beard. Yes. Some people say that's a curse, but some say it's a blessing because they hate having to shave every single day to be clean cut. Me looking like a child for my entire life, I get over it. I think saving the money on potentially cutting myself, shaving, as well as money on razors, and, like if you're in a tight pinch where you don't have time, but then you wake up and you need to shave, but you don't have time. Like all that, I think it's worth not having to shave. Like it's just one less hassle thing. Honestly, if I could freeze like my hair length, like to the length that is right now, I would also do that too. So I never have to get a haircut again. I would lose the benefit of being able to grow hair out to have different hairstyles, but I do not care. Like you get to a certain point, maybe it's after you become a dad, maybe it's when you hit your mid 30s or whatever the hell. Like you get to a certain point where like the way that you look, aside from like your, you know, your fitness or whatever and your health, like looks wise, aesthetics, I do not care. I bagged a wife. I'm good. I don't need to like overly impress other people with like my, you know, having facial hair or certain hairstyles, all that. I'm gonna live and look like a bum for the rest of my life now, unless I guess I get divorced and then I need to go back into the dating market where I have to put in a little bit more effort into my looks. Then that's a different story. But for now, I'm sitting happy with the way it is. That Chia haircut style never took off. Bro, I'm in a whole different country. We have way price to performance. We have way what price to performance? Way worse? Was that SNL commercial? Wait, what $50 PC? What $50 PC are we talking about? If we're talking about a $50 PC that can beat the crap out of a $500 PC, this must be like you found it at Goodwill and it was super lucky. People aren't building actual good $50 PCs with any decent hardware unless they get extremely lucky. And that's like saying, oh, I was gifted a free PC, so that's a $0 PC. Like, we can't use these one-off outliers as like indicative of what $50 really gets you in a PC. Oh my god, CMM, you are being such a troll right now. I'm gonna time you out because you're just like annoying people. You're saying all you have is excuses. You don't need to spend more than $100 to play AAA titles on Ultra. I don't know what kind of sense of humor you have, but I don't think it's funny. And you're just annoying other people. So I'm gonna time you out if this stupid interface lets me. I don't know why it's lagging so much right now. But put user in timeout. We'll just do 30 minutes. That'll probably be till the end of the stream. Yeah, don't feed the trolls. Well, I only brought him up so that I could put him in timeout. Which I think is worth. But yeah, otherwise don't feed the trolls. I always, 100%, I always find it weird when people try to look their best when they are married. But I guess some people need that ego boost. I kind of get it, right? Like, you should still put in effort, which is the exact opposite of what I just said. But like, just because you got married doesn't mean you shouldn't try anymore. And I'm guilty for, you know, letting loose a little bit in that category. Like, you should still try to be the best version of yourself or your significant other. And whether or not aesthetics comes into play, that's up to the individual. But me and Melissa go back and forth when it's our anniversary and it comes up. She wants me to dress nice, and being me, I don't like dressing nice just because, like, why? So we usually meet somewhere in the middle. But like, yeah, it depends. Sometimes your significant other does like it when you're clean shaven and like, you know, you're fit and all that kind of stuff. Danny really let himself go after he got married. I got married in 2021. We were supposed to get married in 2020, but pandemic. So then we canceled our original venue, and then a year later we got married at a much smaller venue. And do I look different than let's go and see. Nerd on a Budget in 2021. Pandemic. If I put in pandemic, oops. Let's see what we can find. We should be able to find 5 years ago. Oh wait, no, this isn't gonna have me in it. Finally a deal. Oh my god! Look at that
Hey, what's up,
hair.
everybody?
I don't know if this one counts. Oh my gosh, look at that hair. This was what? This was May 2020, so everyone was still in lockdown, and the pandemic was the longest I went without a haircut. I forget what month I ended up getting a haircut, but for sure this year was the longest I had ever let my hair gotten in my entire life. But if we were going to compare me pre-married Danny right here to Danny today, you can't really see my hair that well right now, but I'm looking better than back then, right? I would say. Meet somewhere in the middle equals better make the wife happy. Yeah. Can we find any other pandemic video? Oh, here's one 5 years ago. Wait. I'm wearing a hat in this one. Also, why is this video... Why did I not turn up the exposure or the ISO or anything? I really just put out a video like this dark. I'm so bad when it comes to being like a cinematographer type person. I'm not one by any means. I suck when it comes to camera settings and stuff like that. But my gosh, look how dark it was. But this was me. Was I married by this point? We got married. Yeah, this was about a month before our wedding. So pre-married Danny right here. Look about the same, right? I didn't let myself go. I still wear tank tops. I wore tank tops, I think the most recent LAN video was winter, so I did not wear a tank top. But there should be tank top in the upcoming one. What are my thoughts on the 9070 non-XT and a Ryzen 9600X combo? Good. Perfect. Slowly buying parts whenever I see a deal. That's a good combo. Yeah, perfect. Is there any upcoming building competition like LTT one? Definitely nothing like the LTT one. That was, I don't know how I got the invite to that one. That was very lucky, one-off thing. I mean, they haven't even done a similar video like that recently. Yeah, like we're coming up on a year since they shot that video. Have they done even if it wasn't a build competition, but like some kind of competition bringing in smaller to medium-sized creators? I guess Tech Joyce was a really big creator. She had like over 1 million at that point, but I guess Zach had over 1 million too. But like still, like I don't know if they've done that collab in any type of category in the last year. I think it's just one of those things that, again, that was a lot of work. Planning that video, I'm sure on LTT's end, that was a lot of work for them too. But for us, like, you know, us smaller channels, we definitely wanted to meet all the deadlines that they put out for us. So yeah, that was a little bit stressful, I would say. Yeah, try to look nice for her and she gets made and says, who you trying to get look good for? Unk, is the RX 6600 good enough for competitive FPS titles? Looked at benchmarks, but I'm just worried about frame drops. Yeah, well, I mean, competitive FPS titles? That's like a wide range from like CS2, Fortnite, to like straight up AAA Call of Duty games. RX 6600 at 1080p medium settings should be fine for the wide range of competitive games. Yeah, if you're playing at 1080p, 8 gigabytes of VRAM, you're not worried about a stutter fest. The CPU you pair with it will also be equally important if you're playing a CPU heavy game like CS2 / Fortnite, which is optimized like garbage, and even like the Call of Duties and stuff too. I think it's fine. Obviously you're gonna get like lower 1% and more frame drops than if you had a top of the line system, but I think it's definitely workable. I think RX 6600 is still a very solid graphics card today. I think it is a bit out of context. I am fine with you looking good for your spouse, but to show off your assets to the public is what I find to be terrible. That's like, I mean, yeah, like people say they do it for themselves, but some people do it for acceptance of, you know, public and like to be vain and stuff, right? I would poop if LTT called me, like in your pants, not on a toilet, like in your underwear. I'm gonna hold you to that. Next time, if LTT calls you for a collab, I'm gonna be like, Jason, I'm gonna need you to crap in your pants right now. On the floor? Okay, but so you still pull your pants down though. That chilled IT guy says, I would crap if LTT, ZTT, Nobe, TechJoyce called me. Well, I'm not calling you, but I am reading your comments, and I'm kind of basically talking to you on one-on-one right now, right? So, does that count for causing you to poop? AI bubble burst in Korea. Is it coming to the US? Did it actually burst? Or did it like have a tiny slight correction and turned over a bit, but still generally trending up? I don't believe AI is bursting anywhere in the world right now. I haven't seen this specific article, but you might be onto something. Oh, I think they're on the way home. Oh, they're almost home. They're gonna be like, what the heck are you still doing streaming? All right, we are almost at 3.5 hours into stream. Man, it is August. I need to get the LAN party video out this month. I have to get it out before Labor Day weekend when PAX is. So I need to start working on that. No video, no long form video this week. There should be one next week that is a part pickup. Short form content, you know, coming out a couple times a week. And then I need to work on the LAN video to get it out before the end of the month. But yeah, that's what's on the list of things to do. I'm just gonna chill, read comments, drink some water, and then we will sign off for the night. You're gonna be using a Ryzen 5500. Can you try to find like a Ryzen? You're using a 5500. Can you try to find a Ryzen 5600 on like eBay, Hardware Swap, or something else instead? You're talking about like frame rate and 1% lows. I think the Ryzen 5 5500 might actually no, because if you're playing with both pretty entry-level-ish parts, they would pair fine, but I think you're 1% by spending a little bit more money on a used 5600 over a 5500. I think you would be getting more of a like gain and improvement to your frame pacing than the amount of money you would have to spend to get a noticeably better graphics card than a 6600, if that makes sense. Like the bang for buck, if you were to put money into improving your 5500 or your 6600 by spending a little bit more, it would be going to the 6600 or the 5600 on the CPU side of things. Been seeing a lot of retro sleeper builds online. You gotta do one in the future. I have a case that's technically retro that I wanted to do a build in. It's not retro like in that it's beige, but I do have one of these cases that I picked up years ago. And it's like, you know, it's in what era was this? Like 2010 or something like that. So it's not retro, but it's definitely on the older side of things. So I have one of these. This is the origins of my love for boxy PC cases with a handle. And you can tell it's, you know, on the older side because of that windowed fan mount, as well as like just look at it, the way that cases back then, in terms of like how much space they have inside, just the build layout, the drive bays and stuff like that. I'm planning on doing a modern build in this, which is a micro ATX case, but like a retro beige, like from a, you know, PC tower in the 90s type thing. Actually, I wonder how much one of those would even cost. If I look at retro PC, how much would I have to spend to even get a case? Like, we're not, well, I guess you could do a sleeper build in one of these cases, but I'm talking about like beige. I think those items they're worth like, or they cost a little too much because people know the value of them. Like, I guess this vintage. Like, look at this retro gaming PC project lot. 120 bucks for a bunch of basically maybe not useless hardware, but like I would be getting it for the case, and that'd be pretty expensive. But this is, I guess you can consider this a retro case. Does anyone have a beige case on here? Oh, a compact Corsair. Oh my god. Wait, what's the specs of this? This looks like the PC the family PC I had in high school that I started playing World of Warcraft with. I don't know if this is the exact one because I don't know the model, but I remember it had a bay that opened up with firewire down here. And this looks very similar though. I don't know if this is the exact model number, but it was a Windows XP system as well. And yep, it did have like the PS2 connector for peripherals and stuff like that. If I had to bet, I would say this is it. Like my springboard, like my exponentially increasing interest for PC, like PCs and stuff like that, it came from a compact Rosario that looked just like this around 2003 2004 when I started playing World of Warcraft. But yeah, other than that, this is what I'm talking about. So when I think of retro, I'm thinking about PC cases that are this color. Xpod, I see your super chat. I will get to it in 1 second. So this is a retro PC, Windows 98 Dell Optiplex GX1P Pentium. Okay, see original description. Wait, what is this? Oh, that was an ad for an eBay listing. So doing a sleeper / retro build in this, I'm not against it. I don't know how much people would enjoy that. I don't know, man. My build videos have not been doing hot recently, even if they are like really good price to performance and like, you know, all that kind of good stuff. So the thing that I know that usually performs well is part pickups and LAN party stories. Like when I do a budget build and it doesn't perform better than those, I kind of scratch my head. But you can't say people are sick of the high prices, because we've seen other people make build videos that do just fine. So yeah, I don't know like what's up with my particular audience when it comes to PC builds. Doesn't seem like people are interested in it anymore when they see like my video pop up, at least. I think they're home. They need help to bring stuff in, so I think I gotta go, but I gotta get to Xpod real quick. 1 second. All right, last thing before I have to go help them with carrying in wherever the heck they bought, and the girls. Would I consider a blind refresh rate video? Someone can help you. Yes? Wait, you mean like a blind test? I want to do so many blind test type videos. I just don't have enough people to do it with. Like, I would love to do a blind test of like a PC that has like a Ryzen 5600 in it with a really powerful graphics card, and the same one with the 9800 X3D playing Counter-Strike 2, turning off the metrics and seeing if people can tell which computer is which. Like, I'm not convinced the average gamer can feel the difference between a 1% low of like 100 with like average 150 FPS versus like 150 1% low and 200 FPS. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they have to be actively playing the game, not trying to pixel peep or refresh rate peep. Is that what your question was? I don't know if that's what you meant. Then no, I would love doing blind tests for so many different things that I believe gamers they believe they want these things when they can't even tell the difference sometimes. Yes, I gotta go help the wife, but leave the a comment with regards to what you're talking about specifically, and I'll read it when I get back. But you guys, have a great rest of your week. Have a great weekend coming up, and I will see you in the Discord server as well as in whatever YouTube Shorts stuff I drop. See you next time. Bye bye.